Well, hello everybody. I'll give everyone out there. First, we're going to, obviously say our hellos. We'll give you a forewarning that we are having. Uh, we may have some technical difficulties during the evening due to uh, restream upgrades and changes that are affecting our normal routine, and we're going to try to work around it as best we can. So. Um, I hear Roy is trying to get in, and Roy, the if you go to the beginning of the chat, I did put the link in for the show, so you could grab it from there. Um, I want to first say hello to everybody on the panel. Roy, I'm sure, will be with us shortly. We got David Stewart temporarily offline here for a second or two, and we got Chuck and Randall and Gustavo, and hopefully everybody's doing well. And do you guys have anything you want to share here in the beginning before we say hi to everybody else?
Let's go to the uh, agenda. So I scroll to there, and then we let everybody go around and say what they have been doing that we usually do. So today we got uh, some uh, some good stuff for today. Okay, so this is our thumbnail that you saw, correct? So that's the main presentation today will be a presentation from Luis. So if you scroll a little bit, Jeff,
Yeah, I got to.
exactly,
Problem is, I'm kind of like messing myself up here, so I'll get there here.
exactly. So the agenda. So we got an agenda rather compact here. We're trying to make this in about an hour. So we welcome everybody as we people join, and then we will go to news and rumors. This is our so-called kind of general meeting. We will talk about firmware updates for the CF, the C52, and the C9. Remember, we haven't been connecting with you guys for last couple of weeks. Any other thing that you want to discuss of news and rumors at a time, that will be good. Then we have some special presentations on the photo gear and what I call the new photo gear. We will have Roy, who will be joining us shortly.
I'm gonna send him another link through email.
Yeah, so you keep doing that while I'm talking here. So Roy has now the Z28 135 power soon, and he will give us his first impression of that lens, and that would be fascinating, correct? And probably unique to our channel because I don't see even in B&H still not completely out. They say pre-orders. Okay, then Jeff have been over the last couple of weeks preparing a presentation to talk about the Fujifilm GFX 100 RF, which is a later edition uh, of the 100 megapixel Fujifilm cameras, right? So he will lead a discussion. Hopefully, we will have a John joining us as well,
Hello, John.
and we
Hey,
have some wonderful pictures from Diana that we're going to be using it to illustrate part of the discussion that Jeff is going to lead. Hopefully, this will take us the first uh, probably an hour of this show, correct? And then we will go to our kind of keynote presentation for tonight, which is Luis has offered to give us a presentation on his recent trip to Thailand, where he did a lot of wildlife photography. So Luis has a presentation, so he will be joining us in about an hour. So when we get to have Luis, then we will switch to that. Then after we finish, we will come back to our kind of general items in the agenda with the photo gear, uh, uh, what I call the vintage edition, and our favorite collector here, Jeffrey Neville, has a new acquisition to his collection, the Kodak Primo One. So he's going to take us through that new acquisition. I believe that you mentioned, Jeff, that that was a camera that was done in 1908. Okay,
Yeah, my model was from 1908. Yeah.
exactly. And then after that, we just will close the business with any other business, anything that you want talking that you want to talk about, and of course, a reminder of the upcoming live stream, including our image review in 2 weeks from now. Right. So that's basically what we have for today. So we got a compact here agenda and so exciting news. Right. So let's talk a little bit about then
Well, let's
the
say our hellos to the people in the chat.
yes, indeed,
So
indeed. Let's
we've
say
got
about
Woody here and Robert from Connecticut. We've got, of course, the folks on the panel. We got Bob from Bob Our Photos.
Robert.
Let's see, we've got Robert and Mike Farwell,
Yes.
and Tim is here. Mozman's here. That's great, and hopefully we get some more people. We got Woody here and Robert from Connecticut. Oh, I'm hearing a reverb of my voice here. We got Bob from Bob Our Photos.
Yeah.
Somebody's got me turned on a YouTube feed, I think.
Yeah. Switch to the presentation that I'm sharing because I can navigate through the pages better than a continuous.
Okay, let me
So
let me get onto this quickly here. I want to share a picture here. I like to share pictures that have a story, and this one's kind of just
for sure.
a soupy personal thing that you guys will maybe get a kick out of. Is as we know, tomorrow is Easter for those who celebrate it, and obviously it's an important day for many people in our country and others. Um, Now, for our children or our grandchildren that are when they were very young, they didn't understand the religious importance to the holiday. They just looked at it as, oh, the Easter bunny's coming to town, and we're going to get candied eggs and stuff like this. So my wife and I don't know what made us do it, but we used to. She bakes the cake. I cut it up and make it look like a rabbit, and I do the artistic icing detailing. But she does the baking. I do the cutting and the decorating. And we used to make this every Easter for our children, when they were growing up. It's a banana nut carrot cake, really, really good, low sugar icing, and we love it. And for some reason, maybe because my wife's retired, she has a little bit more time. We decided, well, why don't we make that cake that we haven't made in God probably 20 years or so. And since we have a guest coming over tomorrow to dine with us, I says, well, let's make it fun and have a bunny cake for everybody for dessert. But just thought I would tell that story, and I shared it with sent it to my children, and one responded, one did not yet, but the one that did says, "Oh, I remember that." And I says, "Do you feel old?" And he says, "Kinda." and Randall just looked at a bunny next to him.
Yeah.
Is that bunny Harvey from the movie?
No. This is a little bunny. I know she was sweating underneath that costume, but I took a quick shot, and what they did was it was all bright all the way around, but then they put it through Photo Lab or something, and they darkened the whole area. So right now I'm just doing some things.
Okay.
I noticed that the mirror was off, so I'm just fixing that right now, and then going back here.
Okay, I lost John here. I got to get John back, and I got to make this.
And it didn't fix it
smaller to fit everybody in here. And John, I hope you're feeling well. I mean, I hope everything obviously worked out well, and I'm good to see you up and around. And we wish you well. We're glad that you're doing good and kicking some, I'm sure. And so
yeah, I'm good to go. That was a close call there. I had one was 100% blocked.
Oof.
Oh my goodness.
And I had the other two were okay. But I had a real rock star cardiologist, and Took 2.5 hours to clear it because it was it had to go over a kink, it had to go over a bend. But he was able to throw that stent in there, and he was happy.
Well,
So
and
good to
therefore
go.
you're happy.
Yeah. So Diana was ecstatic. It took 2.5 hours, but it was not real fun. But now I feel like $1,000,000.
Wow.
I can
Well,
see
I don't
better.
know.
I breathe better. Amazing.
I
So,
got to block somebody here.
so anyway, thanks, guys. I really appreciate your support, and especially Roy. Sends me a little donation. That was the first one I ever had in my life.
Have to more often.
Ah.
So John, did you get to talk to the doctor the entire time?
Oh yeah, he's going. They have a whole team, and the doctor's sitting there concentrating. Well, try this angle, try that angle. I'm starting to see cartoons, Looney Tunes for a while. But
But
yeah,
John, now you have all that energy now.
for sure. But they found out through the stress test I took, remember, and then
Yeah.
and then they saw that couple little dips in there, and he says, "Yeah, we'll better take a look, see." So the last time I was on was 2 days before my procedure.
Wow.
No.
But
So
we're glad you're up and kicking and being creative.
And you immediately went into some good videos with Mr. Wu, which
oh yeah, yeah. Even yesterday what did he have? Oh,
Minox.
three M's that go backwards. M321.
I love the one that he was unpacking that camera that almost looked new, a Minox.
Oh, that little.
That was that was a great unpacking video.
Yeah, he snagged that one.
Yes, I see that he was prepared with his knife and everything to open all the the box.
Every time he
Yeah.
touches those cameras, he wants to keep it. And I said, you can't. You got to sell them, man.
He's getting too good with a knife. You got to watch out, John.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, I got a couple more coming. So
but we'll throw up the slide here, Gustavo.
Okay.
I'll bring up your slides.
Yeah. So we went through the agenda already. So at this point here, before we go to our first item in the agenda, which will be Mr. Roy, um, since we haven't had the opportunity for everybody to say hello, particularly our mayor here, Mr. Chuck. So let's start with Mr. Chuck, saying what he has been doing. How's you feeling?
I got a new lens.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
let me drag you over here. So it's the 35-1-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Congratulations.
my goodness.
There you go. How's it feel?
Got it today. Sounds good. I took it to front. Shot the cat for 2 or 3
Okay.
times, and yeah.
Is that why the cat wasn't moving when we got you on? That you shot the cat?
That's wonderful.
Cat's awake now.
Yeah.
I'm getting the cat upset. The cat's
Mr. Noah, just going to mess up with the switchboard. So I'm glad. Chuck, remember, we got a image review in 2 weeks. So we want to see some Noah
Send
pictures.
some cat
Yeah.
pictures. Send some Noah pictures.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fantastic.
All right.
So what about you, Mr. Stewart? We thank you for your presentation about your when you were in British Columbia in Vancouver to your photo club there and your presentation about night photography. But apart from that, what else is going on with Mr. Stewart?
Well, I haven't talked to them since, and I don't know they're talking to me. But anyway, most of the
It
people
wasn't
in
that
the
bad.
chat, well, most of the people that were in the chat for that were this group because a lot of them don't have Google accounts, so then they couldn't get in the chat, but they watched it. And the nice thing about Jeff letting us putting on this channel is that they can go back and they can watch again and again and again. It's on the 16th of May. I'm going to be in Vancouver and Stanley Park, and it's
Okay.
I'll take them through everything that they should have learned on the video, and we're going to shoot the 9 o'clock gun. That's what I had in the background. But to shoot it is not easy. This is going to be my 8th or 9th time trying
Wow.
to get the perfect shot. But what I usually end up doing is you do a background, just like you do if you're doing astro, and then when it goes, is you shoot a burst, and then you put them all together in post,
All
and
right.
get what you want. So it's not simple, but we got 2 hours, and it only goes once, and it takes all of 2 seconds. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. So, yeah.
Thank you, David.
And Randall, you got anything of interest to pass on?
Well, I sold my Canon APS-C cameras and lenses. Bought a full frame Canon R8. Got some news about the with the tariff that my camera store told me that they will have a presentation of the Fuji RF one or
GFX 100
yeah,
RF.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the 24th of April, but they're not doing any pre-orders. So they're delaying it.
Yeah, B&H isn't either because they cannot pass on that level of. They can't sell it for what they'd have to sell it for. No one's going to buy it. That's what it comes.
No
down
way.
to.
No way.
There's no way it's going to happen. So
It'd be almost 7K, you know.
yeah, Fuji's going to take it on any of the Chinese lens manufacturers. You know, if when these dealers run out of inventory, they're not going to reorder until things kind of calm down a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah, I may have to go and visit you, John, and
Come on over.
We're all going to go to Malaysia.
yeah,
Get your deal.
So how it appears in B&H coming soon, and because it has a price. I remember
They have a price, and they'll say pre-orders, but a lot of these camera companies are not actually going to do a pre-order anymore because they can't. They're not going to be able to sell it for what they have to sell it for. No one's going to buy it, so they're just not going to order it.
Okay.
It's on pause.
All right.
And the funny thing is with North America, and this includes South America, is all the cameras come into the States first, and then they're distributed out. And so even in Canada, we're going to have to pay the tariff until such a time as the cameras companies and manufacturers ship directly to Canada.
Oh wow, that's a bummer, man. I thought Canadians would be free and clear.
Well, you're not the only one, John. I figure that's a kick in the short and
And it makes sense. It makes sense that if you send a shipment in a container, that it will, offload in Los Angeles, even if you have an additional stop in Vancouver. So anyway,
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, John, anything else apart from your wonderful recovery? And Mr. Wu?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I saw him yesterday.
Okay.
And he likes to put on his little, like a lab coat when he does.
That was wonderful.
when he does his Leica stuff. Oh yeah, and yesterday they had a second-hand Canon R1 that just came in, and it had like what, less than 300
shots on it. Yeah.
FCs, you know.
Okay.
So I said, let me check this thing out. I couldn't believe how light it was.
Yeah.
I was really surprised, and this thing is like hypersonic, man. Couldn't believe it. This thing is a real rocket ship, but somebody already traded it in.
Wow.
So if anybody's interested in our one, come on down.
Come on down to Malaysia. It's a short trip.
Yeah, come on down to J&I Photo. We got a deal for you today and today only.
And then we got Mr. Roy here.
Roy.
Mr. Roy, what's up with you now? What are you up to?
A few weeks ago, I got this funny new lens. Comes with a giant hat
A giant hat.
with a peekaboo
Ah,
at the bottom, but it must be faulty because it got the gold ring at the wrong end.
ah. So that's the lens that we're going to coerce Roy into talking about in a little bit here.
Oh,
The Nikkor
wow.
28. It's the power zoom lens that they came out with, the 28 to 135, and Roy's got it in his hands right now.
That's a video lens. isn't it?
Cinema lens
Cinema.
per
Yes.
se. If
Wow, that's a beauty.
so,
Interesting.
Still,
Not as boring as a 35-1.2,
So,
but
so how long since
not
you have it?
sharp either.
Roy, we will reserve all the commentary for
when we come back to start the discussion, we'll let you share your. I know you shared some things with me over back and forth a little bit on email, but we'll let you fill everybody in when we get back to it here.
okay.
Now, let me.
You know I'm not a patient person, don't you?
Yeah,
No, that's
we got. Do you need to go through the slide,
Yes.
Gustavo?
So in this segment, we're going to go through news and rumors. The first thing I wanted us to discuss here, correct, is the recent Nikon firmware update, correct? Because we have updates in so-called minor updates for the C9, C52, and major updates of the CF, correct? So obviously the CF was a couple of weeks ago, but we didn't have a get together that time, and I'm sure many, including Mr. Jeff, have the CF, correct? And I'm sure you have probably updated to the new firmware version.
Well, I didn't update it the first day it came out, but I did update it. I think 2 days ago. I finally got around to it, and of course, the one other thing that's popped out in the news that's kind of related to all these other cameras is the commentary from Nikon that the Z6 III will have bird autofocus by the end of the year. So
That's probably coming before, but so I think the main highlights, and I try to make a kind of reduced list. I think there is more update than they did on this one. Is obviously they starting to include uh, uh, the Nikon imaging cloud in now all the cameras, correct? So this already come with that, with the customizable picture controls. I'm sure that Jeff hasn't played with that one. Then we have this high res zoom that allows to zoom in electronically up to 2x, correct? And when you're doing videos, remember this is a heavy video centric camera in a way, correct? As we discussed a couple of weeks ago. Yes, you've already mentioned the bird subject detection that have been added. So that basically uh, something that people were waiting to have in all the cameras. I understand looking at some of the YouTubers that they also did some updates to the minor focus, the live view displays, and they allow you to uh, zoom in to confirm focus and go back relatively easy. I don't know if you have played with that one, Jeff.
Yeah. They're, I mean, they've done a lot. I mean, obviously, it's kind of. I mean, you got to give Nikon credit where credit's due. Is like even to come out with a very minor firmware update on the Z50 Mark II that just came out, and which really isn't too much to talk about. I mean, we're not going to go through every single thing that they did on each of these firmware updates, but all that stuff's readily available. But even to just even come out, like I said, with something on a brand new camera, right? Pretty much right away. I mean, they're on their game, and a lot of stuff they put in the ZF with the firmware version 2 is significant. is significant. And Gustavo, listed, a lot of these features here on the screen. But I mean, if you went down the list, you could
Oh,
we could do the whole show just talking about
exactly,
version 2 firmware update.
exactly.
But everything from being able to create picture controls and import them in and save them and do all these other things, and working in the cloud and updating your firmware via the cloud, and of course the bird detect and bird subject detect and so on and so forth. And it's a very impressive list of things. And it's great. It's great that they're doing it. I mean, they added stuff pretty much everywhere, and of course, buried in the updates are obviously there's always some bug fixes. Okay, with any of these firmwares, there's usually something that was a bug where somebody had one certain thing configured a certain way and then pushed a button 3 times and something locked up or something weird happens, and then somehow Nikon gets to try to figure out how did that happen and how do we fix it. And doesn't always happen right away, but they've been pretty good about it.
So you were happy and everything worked out fine. So that's good. So I know that Robert here, Bob, is saying that he can, that indeed you can zoom in about 400% for critical focus, correct? And then uh, hit the shutter button and go back to your normal view. So that you said it's fantastic. They are doing all that. And by the way, we have Joy join us there with mystical Joy is in there.
Is he waiting in the wings to come in?
No, he's already in.
Oh, okay. So that he confused me with the Joe Digital thing. You're not showing your face. Did you grow a beard or something? You don't want us to see it?
I'm just in a unique mental space right now. No, I'm just on holidays right now, and I'm just snuck up here to the guest room to call you guys. And as much as I'm sure you'd love to see my very disheveled face, I thought I would just call in and create a fun AI avatar with a bunch of cameras. I said, "What would a camera god look like?" And that's what it made. So
a camera god look like. That's funny.
We need to see that logo in close up.
He didn't want to show his face because he probably did what I did and nicked himself shaving.
I'd have to have facial hair for that to happen, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
you have no hair on your head, and I have no hair on my face. It's quite the
I'd have to call you baby face Joey.
There we go. I love it. Leaning into it.
Yeah, Joey's not old enough to have facial hair.
Yeah, no, I am 15 years old, and I have no idea where I am. Oh my God.
And of course, we know we got the minor update, which are always, like you said, Jeffrey, welcome. Correct? Yeah. I did do my C9, no problem. Obviously, particularly for the bug fixes, correct? If they send you something with bug fixes, it's fine. And of course, now they're supporting this program, NX Field, but that's one of those professional programs that are used for directing multiple cameras remotely. And then the similar thing they did with the C52 firmware 1.1. I know that Paul Scubarassi has the C52. I'm sure that if he comes later, we can ask him if everything went okay with him. Correct?
Yeah, and then of course there was a Nikon Japan. They updated their website, and I guess they're indicating that the new Z5 II camera may be in short supply and coming out with that standard blurb that we get on so many new products that come out, where we've gotten more orders than we anticipated, and it may take time for your order to be delivered. Thank you for your understanding. Kind of like a common. Every company must probably, whoever created that paragraph, probably said, let's copy that and paste it into our when we do our announcement for our camera or our lens. But even though they've said that before, I mean, I think the last time they said that, I mean, the orders did start getting filled within a couple weeks. So let's hope that that's the same thing.
Now they can add another line to it, and if you don't live in North America, you can get it next week.
And then also the other update that they did was the NX Tether, okay, which I don't know if anybody has tried. I know that Chuck, when you work with your daughter in those videos, correct? You use a tether system, but I think you were not working with an NX Tether, correct?
Yeah. It's
But it
smart.
would be good.
Doesn't that allow you though to run multiple cameras?
It will, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, the NX Field allows you to do that, okay?
Yeah.
But that's the professional one that you can
Yeah.
have all sort of remote camera. But I never played with an extender. I see downloaded one time. It would be interesting to try, but you have to have probably an Ethernet cable between your camera and the laptop where you have the software.
Yeah.
So anyway,
any of you guys use a Nikon Cloud? I can't.
No,
figure it
not
out.
me.
Yeah.
I stay away from the cloud stuff. I got my head in the cloud most of the day anyway. I don't need that anymore. You know.
He doesn't need his camera there too.
Yeah. The other comment, I guess Nikon Rumors is saying that the Z5 II should be out in, well, this month. So, you know, they're not saying a date. And I guess there's already cage kits out there by Small Rig for the Z5 II as well. So if you wanted to, you know, armor up your camera, as they say, and for video use or whatever, the Small Rig has you covered. And I think something that I think is great that Nikon does, and I don't think a lot of people really even go and watch these things, is if you're a new camera buyer, and or you haven't makes, let's say the Z5 II is your first digital mirrorless camera, you know, they have the DigiTutor tips and tricks for the Z50 II through Nikon USA, and you can go in there and you can, you know, it's just short videos that they put together to try to help people out with just basic stuff on a new camera that comes out. And it's worth checking out, you know, if you've got one on order and you don't know when you're going to get it. It might be a few weeks, might be a month. Go and you know, go on Nikon USA site and check it out, and maybe you'll get something out of it and kind of get you prepped and geared up for getting your new toy when it comes in.
Yeah,
all right.
And we have Luis joining us. So hello, Luis.
Hi.
How you
Hi,
doing?
guys. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, Luis, I know that because this is awkward time for you. I mean, we scheduled you for coming in about half an hour.
Oh, that's fine.
Do you want to stick with the agenda and go to?
I have my stuff ready, but it's nice to listen to you guys, and then I can wake up a bit.
Okay, you can have another. You could probably get another 2 cups of coffee in.
Exactly.
I'm not drinking coffee, otherwise I cannot go back to bed later.
Go back to bed.
Why do you
Good
got?
choice, Luis. You got to
Yeah,
rock the
thank
Red
you.
Bull.
So let's obviously the other thing, there have been a lot of videos about this new Viltrox lens, correct? The 35 1.2, the rival to the one that Chuck has. Apparently that's I've seen a lot of reviews, a very good value for money. But I don't want to we can go back to rumors and stuff since we have Luis here. Let's go to our photo gear segment new, right? Which will take us first to Mr. Roy. So Roy, this is just a standing picture. We're going to switch to you, and we're going to interview you and your. So we can start sharing that one, Jeff, and go back and put Roy big.
Yep, we'll make Roy big here.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Okay.
In Australia, they call him Big Roy anyway, you know.
That's the new 28 to 135.
Wow.
I got some good idea. It's fun to play with. It's not as sharp as the 24 to 120, and twice the price. So if I was doing it for just stills, I'd probably go for the 24 to 120. It's not quite as sharp as I expected, but it's a good lens. If you're shooting video, it's brilliant. The power zoom is not as sensitive as it's a bit too sensitive. It is progressive and non-linear, but it's easier to use the zoom on the front, which is disappointing.
Okay.
What else? It's got a huge 95mm front end.
Okay.
Oh yeah, ka-ching, filter costs.
Yeah, filters on it already.
Yeah.
But either size of the lens hood.
Yeah, that lens hood is
definitely a video one.
Yeah. Now, what's sad? What kind of gets me is I wish Nikon would would redesign a lot of their lens hoods on their cameras so that if you have, excuse me, if you have circular polarizers, you can open up that little slot and adjust your polarizer. You know?
Okay.
I mean, there are other lens manufacturers that have occasionally had slots in their hoods so that you could adjust your filters as needed, but not too many do it.
Particularly for the polarizer lens, correct? Because it's a pain in the neck trying to get to your polarizer lens under the hood.
Yeah.
This one's got a little peekaboo window.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I wish they would put on a lot of their.
I'd rather have slip-in filters.
Well, and the slip-in filters, yes, indeed, they also have that little wheel, correct? That you can move around. But
yeah.
I think it's good. I tell you, Jeff, if they will sell alternative hoods with that slotted system, that little window, I will buy them because it's a
time to get a 3D printer, guys. We got to start making our own. We'll make our own. We'll call it Photo Lounge.
This should come with 2 lens hoods, so a normal shape one and this one.
Yeah. We'll call it Photo Lounge lens hoods.
Exactly. So, Roy, did you try both on your C8 and your C9 already?
Yeah, it seems to works reasonably well. It's it's a good range to use, 28 to 135.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was buying this or the 24 to 120, it'd be the 24 to 120. It's cheaper and lighter and doesn't need a 95mm front filter, and it's sharper.
Yeah.
So what's it for? Video? What's it for?
No, they tried to make it with the power zoom feature. They tried to make it more conducive for video shooters.
Yeah,
and they kind of marketed
video. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good for video, but not for stills.
And it has all the, all the rings are already made for gearing with, focus pulling and focus zoom.
They're nice knobbly rings. They work well. I didn't use the power zoom itself much because I found it's just as easy to use the zoom at the front.
Okay. So you have it, but if you want to do a smooth zooming, correct? It's better to use the motor, correct? If let's say you're shooting a video and you want a particular effect, probably it's better to go with the power.
I haven't used it remotely yet, so that's next.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing with the power zoom is you'll get a more controlled zoom.
Exactly.
And if you're trying to do it manually, if you're not, depending on how adept you are at turning the ring the same rate of speed as you turn it, But like you said, that's a lot of money for a lens too.
I think it's too much money for what it is. Unless you're shooting a lot of video, it's too much.
Yes.
And the power zoom itself, the switch, it's too sensitive. It's really hard to get exactly what you want.
Okay. And I guess you can program different speed of zooming, correct? Zooming in, zooming out.
It's probably adjustable, but I haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, I think all the speed, how fast the power zoom works, is something that you control within the menu system of
Well,
the
it's
camera.
variable depending on how hard you push the button.
Okay.
The more you push it, the faster it goes.
Exactly.
But it's a bit too sensitive for my liking. But
Does it eat
that's
up
probably
batteries?
adjustable. Sorry,
Does it eat up the batteries?
I don't know. I haven't run out of batteries. I ran it on the Z9, and that's got a huge battery.
No, that's true.
I don't
What are
think
you going to
ours
use it
uses
for?
that much battery anyway.
Video. So Mossman is asking you what is the focus throw on that lens? Is it short? I mean, to go from 28 to 135.
It's not long. It's medium. I'd say it's well thought out. I think that's also adjustable,
Okay.
all in software. It feels like a fairly older design lens than it should be. It also looks like the Sony version,
Yeah.
which is very
Roy, I would
confusing.
love to see you get it hooked up on like a gimbal and get something that's automated with the hand controls, so you could try shooting like zoom in to wide in video with that internal zoom because it would stay balanced. I think that would be really neat to look at.
Exactly.
I like
wish
the
it-
blue rear lens cap. That's kind of cool.
That's me. That's just so I
Oh.
can tell the lenses apart. If they're in the bag at night, you can't tell otherwise.
Oh, that's you.
That's me.
That- yeah,
Sorry
that's
about that.
a Roy lens cap.
Oh, that's a Roy signature.
If I've got a pile of lenses in a bag, I want to find the ones I want. I've normally get labeled as well.
So that blue color is for your cinema collection now, right?
That's just Z lenses. Anything Z mounts blue.
Okay.
But so
But
you got a
that's a
lot
fun-
more play. You got a lot more playing around to do with it.
I have. I've only had it a few weeks to.
Yeah.
And I haven't
We
really
want
got
to
to
see
it.
a Kookaburra documentary with that
Yeah.
lens.
No,
I took
I want to
out a-
see another one of that thing that looked like a porcupine, whatever
Ah,
it's called.
Echidna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was wicked cool. I like that. That was weird. That's a weird thing. That was neat.
I've been doing more videos lately, but I need a new video editor. The one I've been using is about 30 years old, and I just discovered it doesn't have exposure compensation in it.
Okay.
Well, it looks like it's kind of light.
What's that?
How's the weight of the lens?
It looks like it's not too heavy.
It's probably the same as a 1.2. Oh no, it's fraction heavier, same size.
A little heavier than the 35-1.2.
Fraction heavier, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
about the same
Oh, I
size.
tried
though.
that.
Oh, it's got the lens hood though, so it's a bit bigger too.
And yeah, Chuck, just for those who weren't here earlier, Chuck did just pick up the 35-1.2, so he's getting his
Oh, wow.
building up his muscles with the flexing his muscles with the 35-1.2.
Yeah, I tried it yesterday, Chuck, and it was like, this thing is gigantic.
This is bigger again.
That thing is gigantic, Chuck.
It is for
Yeah,
a 35.
so much for the days when everybody was clouding the advantage of mirrorless was to have small lenses.
But the pictures were amazing.
Comes
Yeah.
down to do you want small or do you want fantastic lenses? You know, decide.
Well, the
Yeah,
35 is sharp wide
That's a
open.
tough
which is-
call.
Yeah. The more critical you are, the bigger the lenses are going to be, and the bigger your mount is, the bigger the lenses are going to be. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I definitely did this lens, Roy. It's made to match or with the red acquisition, correct? And I mean, you
Yeah,
can see
probably. It'd
in
be
the-
better on a red than it is on a Z9 or a Z8.
exactly
But-
mounted in there.
But it does both jobs. If you're shooting video, it's a great lens.
Yeah,
It just seems to work really well for video.
exactly. That's what he designed for, correct?
Yeah.
That's the right tool
It
for
doesn't
that.
seem to work as well for stills.
No, I agree with you. I mean, for still the 24-120 is a very practical lens, and we talk
Half the
all the time.
price, half the weight, half the size.
Exactly.
Yeah, the 24-120 to me is actually probably the only lens
And it's
that
sharper.
I would ever think about actually owning more than one of.
So that you don't have to switch it between cameras.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just such a, it's just great. It's just great. I mean,
Yeah, perfect.
I bought this.
focal
I
range.
bought this Typoc 75 1.5 Typoc.
Okay.
About $850, and I compared it with the $15,000 Leica 75 Nautilux, and I can't tell the difference.
Well, unless you're shooting wide open, you probably wouldn't. Most lenses, you wouldn't tell the difference unless you're shooting wide open. These days, most gear's pretty good.
So that lens, Roy, your 28-135, is not available in B&H yet,
isn't it? Oh, I had to hold it for a couple of weeks because I was told to not tell everyone I've got it.
No.
Oops.
I was told it's been released, so
this video is fake, people. It's not real.
It's not. It hasn't been released yet, Roy.
That's just.
I think I was told it has. I wouldn't have been allowed to tell you.
How much is it?
Here it's.
Isn't it like $2,600 US?
Yes.
Yeah, about that.
$2,600 US, I think.
I think soon it'll be as expensive in America as it is here.
Yeah, it's. I be honest with you. I mean, even though I do video, I don't have any intentions of getting it.
I think if you're just a video shooter, it's worth considering because it does feel good to use as video. Just the way all the functions of it work. If you follow my ramblings.
Yeah. See, I'm more of a shooter where I'm flipping the switch on the camera. I'm doing a bunch of stills. I see something I want to get a short clip of. I flip it to video. I get it. I flip it back to stills. I take some more stills. So if I was somebody, like you said, that said, okay, today I'm trying to focus on one thing and it's just going to strictly be video, and I did that a lot, then I might lean towards that lens. But with my style and what I do, I don't. It's not enough of a persuasion for me to go and do it. Just for me.
Very dedicated to video.
Yeah.
In any case, Roy, congratulations. We got here. We got you, and we got this. I think it's with regard to Nikon, it's an important lens, and the fact that you have it is fantastic, and the fact that you can.
I had to see what it was like. You can't tell with a couple of hours playing.
Exactly.
You can't tell what a lens is like.
Well, when you fooled around with it, say a couple months go by, we'll have to revisit it again and see what you think of it after you've fooled around with it some more, had more time behind it.
It's an interesting lens, but the 24-120 is much better value.
For sure. All right. So let's go to Mr. Neville here for the discussion. So this is just I think, Jeff, you take from here, switch back to your presentation. We come back to this and Diana's photos after.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm not a world-renowned photographer or anything. So Fuji isn't going to send me one to play with. I wish they would. If you're out there, Fuji, send me one, baby. Send me one. But anyway, these are just my observations from, a combination of really reading through the spec sheet a lot on the camera, looking at their presentation on their website, looking at some other presentations that have been done by other people, and then just kind of like really thinking about it. Because when this camera first came out, it really, my eyes kind of popped and my ears kind of went up, and I'm like, this could be this could be a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to make this bigger if I can. Okay. So for me, and this is just my opinion, this doesn't reflect necessarily the opinion of other people that are on the panel or other people that have used the camera or own the camera. And that's why when this is all done, we want to definitely hear, from our friend here that just is now fully recovered from his surgery, and Mr. Ishii and hopefully his wife might want to join us too, because they actually have this camera, the Fujifilm GFX 100F 102 megapixel medium format camera with a fixed 35 millimeter f4 lens. So I asked myself, who is this for? And to me, it was like, and this is a key thing, someone who wants a lightweight, medium format camera for travel, well suited for landscapes, general purpose, street photography, and some portrait work. It's definitely an affordable option versus a Leica Q3 or a Hasselblad XQD or any of the other Fuji GFX options. And just to show price points here, this model is $48.99. The Leica Q3 with a 28 millimeter f1.7 is $62.95. The Hasselblad XQD is $81.99 body only. And if you decided to throw on a 38 millimeter f2.5 lens or a 25 f2.5 lens, you can add another $3,699 on top of that. The Fuji GFX 100S version 2, which is an interchangeable lens version that does have IBIS, 8 stops of IBIS, is only $100 more, but that's the body only. And obviously the body is much bigger. And like I said, emphasized at the beginning, someone who wants a lightweight medium format camera. It is a rangefinder style. It is not a rangefinder camera. It looks like a rangefinder camera, but it's not. It's got a 102 megapixel CMOS 2 sensor. Now, here's the thing that really kicks you in the butt. When you look at the pictures from this camera, and I will bring up a B&H website to show you different pictures of this camera, it only weighs 1.62 pounds, including the battery and the SD cards. And the dimensions are there on the screen: 5.26 wide, 3.56 high, 3.01 deep. It's actually lighter and smaller than a Z6 III, which is 1.48 pounds, but that doesn't include the battery and the card. So you look at the camera, you look at the pictures of the camera, you get that feeling that it's really, really tall, and you think that it's bigger than it really is, and it's actually smaller than a Z6 III. So to fit in a 102 megapixel sensor, medium, and make a medium format style camera that is smaller than a Z6 III, I give them 5 stars for that they pulled that off. Now, some of the features, I'll go through these quick. They got an aspect ratio dial on the rear of the body. You got 9 different choices. Some will say, "Oh, who needs all those choices?" I say, who cares if it's 9 or 29? Choices are good. Okay, you don't want to use it, you don't use it. 20 film simulations, a built-in 4-stop ND filter, and it's the first lens in this Fuji series of medium format cameras that actually has a leaf shutter. So you have flash sync capability up to 1/4000th of a second. And the shutter speed is 1/4000th mechanical and 1/16,000th of a second electronic. My only kind of like little gripe is their wording of advertising it as being a camera that has a digital teleconverter. Poor choice of words. It's not a teleconverter. It's really a digital crop feature that has 3 simulations: a 45 millimeter simulation that gives you a 79.3 megapixel file, a 50 millimeter simulation that's 56.6 megapixels, and an 80 millimeter that's 44.6 megapixel file. Now, I list here the 35 millimeter equivalents are 35, 50, and 63. I just feel the wording, the advertising wording saying digital teleconverter is not true, because we all know an optical teleconverter would not result in a smaller megapixel file.
That's right.
You know? Now, the thing to note, though, is that Leica does the same, not necessarily the same ranges, but Leica cameras, the 61 megapixel Leicas, do the same crop simulations similar feature, but those file sizes are going to be significantly smaller because it's a 61 megapixel sensor versus a 102.
That's right.
So, in reality, when you're using this crop mode, you're not losing really anything, because those file sizes are still huge and would allow you to do anything you want to do with them. I mean, that's the advantage of having a large sensor camera. You've got 2 card slots, SD card, support UHS-1, UHS-2, V90, and you can also hook up a 2 terabyte SSD drive for external file storage as well. Native ISO is 80. Has TIFF files in camera, either 8 or 16-bit, RGB, in-camera RAW, JPEG, and DCF files. Exposure control is TTL, 256 zone metering, multi-spot, average, and center weighted. You got your PASM mode switch. You do have digital image stabilization and an image stabilization boost mode, but that applies only to movie modes only. You've got 6 frames per second max in 14-bit mode, 4 frames per second if in 16-bit. And obviously those frame rates vary based on other settings that you may have on the camera. We're not going to get into all the variables. You've got auto exposure bracketing up to 3 stops and a half EV steps for 2, 3, 5, 7, or 9 frames. You have focus modes of single autofocus, continuous autofocus, and manual. It's intelligent hybrid TTL, contrast detect, phase detect autofocus system. It has face and eye detect, and it has subject detect modes: animal, bird, automobile, motorcycle, bike, airplane, and train. You have single point autofocus that you can adjust the size. You got zone autofocus, a custom autofocus, wide tracking, AFS wide, AFC wide. You've got a self timer that is either 2 or 10 seconds if you're shooting stills, and it's 3, 5, or 10 seconds if you're doing movies. You've got white balance. I'm just going to say it's typical of what we're used to seeing on all cameras. I'm not going to get into that too deep. Dedicated TTL compatible hot shoe, a 5.7 million dot OLED EVF with diopter adjustment, 0.84 times magnification with a 50 millimeter lens, and a built-in eye sensor. You got a touch screen. It's 3.15 inches. It tilts, 2.1 million dots. You got video basically that does up to 4K 30. We'll round it up to 30. 29.97 is close enough, which is really, really amazing for a camera that's going to have this amount of file size that you're going to get. I'm not going to go through you can see it on the screen here: movie compression, several types of that. Apple ProRes 422, linear PCM stereo, 24-bit. The video features are good. It has skin smoothing option built in, Bluetooth, wireless, USB Type-C, 10 gigabytes per second. Some might complain it has a micro HDMI connector. Everybody complains about cameras that have a micro HDMI connector. But it does have microphone connectors for both the mic and your remote shutter release and use for a headphone jack. It's got the their NPW 235 lithium ion battery, which is rated at 820 shots for stills and being able to do 4K video or HD for 140 minutes. X processor, 5 chip, I've watched a lot of videos on this camera, so knock yourself out and join the crowd. I think they did a great job. Now there are a few weaknesses, and some consider it a weaknesses and weakness, and some may not. But it is something that deserves to be mentioned, just so people know. Now the lens, for some, an f4 lens, I did the math. The depth of field equivalent is similar to a f3.14 lens on a 35 millimeter camera. So it's not going to offer super shallow depth of field or as shallow depth of field if you compare it to the Leica 28 millimeter f1.7 lens on the Q3, or even the f2.5 lens on a Hasselblad. Now, if this lens was an f2.5, it would compare really line on line with the Leica lens regarding depth of field. And for some, they're making a real big stink about this. But they did it in many ways to keep the lens size small and to make the package light and portable. And, I think that we can all look at any camera that comes out and we can all find something to complain about. Any camera, I don't care, Nikon, Fuji, Canon, anything. We can all find something to complain about because we're looking at it like, I wouldn't use that. I don't care about that. Well, they're not making the camera for Jeff Neville. They're not making the camera for John Ishii. They're making a camera. Okay, so choice is fantastic. Whether it be choice in camera models within your preferred brand or choice in camera models in general that exist out there today, you have the opportunity to choose what works for you. And this is just another choice. Another complaint is a lack of IBIS. Now, yes, it's true. A large sensor camera is going to be more affected by camera shake. But if you got steady hands and you have good technique, I mean, I know when Petapixel did a review, they were taking shots at 1/15 of a second or even slower, and if they brace themselves, and they didn't really have a problem. Okay, they did point it out, they did call it out, they did talk about it. And if you're somebody that has shaky hands in general, then obviously this is not the camera for you, or you just have to change your settings on your camera and you deal with what you get what you get, right? But the image quality, they say, is very close to the Q3, but of course it has a lot more resolution. But for many, the out of the camera king in terms of how the image looks right out of the camera, everybody loves the Hasselblad XQD. But you're paying a real heavy price for that camera and real high prices for the lenses, because as far as I know, they're all leaf shutter lenses. So they're all their lenses are significantly higher in price than what you're going to pay for any Fuji lens, in the medium format lineup that they have. But once again, it's a choice what you want. So in the end, my opinion, I think they hit a home run with this camera, but no one was on base. And what I mean by that is they could have hit a grand slam if they added IBIS and had an interchangeable lens system. But I give them huge credit for making their first lens in their lineup with a leaf shutter, coming out with such a small and lightweight medium format body. And I give them kudos. I really do. And flash photographers are going to love the leaf shutter. And now you can get the GFX 100S version 2 for $100 more just for the body, and have 8 stops of IBIS and interchangeable lenses as well. You could probably get a used excellent model with a lens for maybe the same price, but you're going to have a much bulkier and heavier camera. So as we all know, there are always trade-offs. Now, if I had the money, to be honest with you, which I don't, I really thought about maybe getting one if I could possibly do it. But then I'm sitting back thinking, and now when you get my age or the age of many of us, you got to say, how many cameras I got left in me? But I feel like within 2 to 3 years, it would not surprise me if Fuji came out with another model that was maybe a little thicker than this, maybe slightly bigger than this, that had IBIS in it, maybe has some interchangeable lens capability. And those who buy this at that time would then want to get that model and might have a tough time selling this camera. But that's just a gut feeling, not based on any factual data, or at least offer OIS lenses if you don't want to add IBIS to the body. But I would love to try this camera out. So Fuji, as I say, if you hear me, send me a copy. I would love to play around with something like that. I think it has its place, and it took big time guts to come out with something like this. I really give them a big thumbs up for for doing that. I think I have a few. If I can find it here, I'll share a few. I don't know if I may have lost the feed here for it, but
so why don't we go to?
I guess I could. You could go on B&H and you can look at a lot of the photos. I'll leave it at that. It's a beautiful camera. I'll let John and I know Gustavo stole. I think he asked permission, but he stole some of Diana's images off of Instagram. What a thief! What a thief for stealing pictures. But I'll let John and Diana, because they are the proud owners. One, I believe John took the black model, and Diana has the silver and black model, if I remember right. And I'm going to let them talk about the camera, because they're actual owners. They're not like wannabe guys like me. They actually got the real deal. So
and more important, we're going to show some of the wonderful images from Diana.
Yes. So you guys take over the show and tell us what you think.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Maybe John can talk about the size first.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, this is the Fuji X106. Okay. So this is about the size. This is an APS-C sensor, right? So this is this one, and then in between, then you have this, which is the Fuji GFX 100S2. Okay, so you can see this is another GFX there. So we can see the size between the APS-C sensor and then the 100 megapixel sensor. It's actually quite significant. And the RF is somewhere in between. It's a little bit bigger than this one. It's it's a little bit bigger. It's a bit taller and a bit thicker, like a little bit, right? But it's really light. It's 735 grams, if I'm not mistaken. So and it really feels very nicely. They have the design, the ergonomics is very good. So when you use it as a camera, like a street camera, it's very good on the hand. It's very light, and it's a camera that. The reason why I order it is because it is such a nice camera with 100 megapixel sensor. Then you can just go out to the street, and you can carry with it the whole day, and you don't feel that weight. This one is very good, the GFX 100S. But when you add the lens to it, even the pancake lens, the 45 mmp, it's still quite a weight. It's still quite heavy. If you have to walk around it on the street, so I think even the Hasselblad. Last time I went to the Great Wall of China with John and my mother, and I carried that Hasselblad with a 28 mmp, walk about 15 kilometers, and that was heavy. And then I got some shoulder pain. So I was actually very happy that, Fuji, they make a camera with a large format sensor with only 735 gram weight. So to me, that was like, oh, okay, I got to have that camera.
And the grip, the way they did the grip, it looks like it's got a nice. It's nice for your fingers to lay in there, and it sticks out enough, and it's ergonomically. It seems to be very ergonomic.
Yes, yes. I mean, for me, my hand is quite small. So even for John, he's had a bigger hand. He can grip it very well. So that one, the design was actually very good. So I love that, right, John? Okay, so but the thing that I love about that camera is the leaf shutter.
Exactly.
Mm,
And when we see your photos, hopefully
mm,
you will make some comments because your photos
mm.
tell us you use that leaf shutter very well.
Yeah, because I actually had this camera with me when I went to the function, and I
Yes.
paired that with the 45 mm. I
Uh-huh.
could not shoot that
Exactly.
photo because the sync speed is 125,
Exactly.
and I could not shoot it in the way I wanted unless I pump up my ISO. And in that environment, it was very dark. And if I pump up my ISO, the picture quality would deteriorate.
Yeah. Why don't we show some of the picture from Diana, and then we go back to Diana and John, because I mean the pictures tell the story how good this camera is and how talented Diana is with this camera.
Now they're in your
The PowerPoint. So you switch to the PowerPoint.
yeah. Give me a second. I'm old and slow. Remember that?
No, that's okay. So anyway, so this is the cameras that we're talking about, the 100 RF, correct? That's the price here in the US. Later on, I'm sorry. Later on, we will talk about how this compares. The Ishis also have this one here, correct?
Yeah.
But what I want to show is this. So this is from Diana Instagram account, correct?
Yes,
And
correct.
if you guys have not yet uh, subscribed to her account, you are missing a very talented photographer, correct? And it just turned out that I think you posted this about a couple of weeks ago or a week and a half ago, correct? A few days
Yeah.
ago, and I
Uh,
saw them, and I had to show it
last
to
week. Last week.
last week,
Last week. Okay.
Yeah.
and I had to show it to my wife. So I show first these images. I mean, you can see how wonderful they look. But Diana was kind enough to basically send those pictures as well, okay, so that we can see them. So you can see here that posting of that ballerina in some sort of stage, and again, what Diana was mentioning here, taking advantage of that sleep shutter, correct, to get that.
Correct. Yeah. Because
So
this picture was shot at 1/600, 1/600 of a second.
Wow.
Yeah, 1/600.
What was the ISO?
ISO is 100.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, Diana, the photo is fantastic. I showed to my wife. I mean, my wife said, "Pure artistry." Right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Always wonderful. Really are.
And the other photo that she sent us, I'm sorry, she sent us another photo here of this. I think it's a Nigerian lady. I mean,
Yes, it's a Nigerian lady.
look at that portrait. Look at the stones key. That John, that's where the 60-bit, correct, comes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
I mean, look at these guys. First, admire Diana for what she can do. I mean, I can guarantee you, we get the same camera, we're not going to get these results. But I mean, this is wonderful. The flowers here, it's fantastic, Diana.
Yeah, this one is quite difficult to shoot because the skin tone is a little bit on the dark side. So there is actually I think 3 lights on her. And so, but it is very hard to control the light because on her cheek it may overblown, and if the highlight is overblown, her skin will be too dark. So that actually is quite challenging because to make sure that it is actually metered correctly for this photo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're trying not to create shadows behind her on
Mm,
that wall either.
correct. Yeah.
And that is the stuff that would drive me nuts. Would be trying to balance the lights well enough, like you said, to not affect the skin tones, and at the same time not create harsh shadows on that wall behind her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I love the fact that all the flowers are in focus. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, here having not such a shallow depth of field, for my opinion, works in the advantage because you can see I mean, you can see all the details in the flowers. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, if I shoot a medium format camera, I like things to be clear.
Exactly.
Because if I want a bouquet and all that, then I'll choose a different camera, with a different lens, with a fast lens. But if for different purposes, for this one, I would like to show the flower, and the flower has to be clear because it's part of the picture.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Now, do you typically prefer to shoot wide open, or do you stop it down one stop?
Um, for medium format camera, I do not like to shoot wide open. I like to stop down.
Yeah.
I like the details because for me, in my opinion, is what the medium format camera gives me is the
Exactly.
detail and the micro contrast of everything. So I like to stop down and usually shoot even for medium format f5.6,
Yeah.
f sometimes f8, especially for studio shoot. I like it to have that detail.
Yeah. Now you could get away with, obviously, with this lens being more of a wide angle lens, you could probably get away with opening it up a little bit more because of the design of the lens. But
Yeah.
it's like reason I asked that is because obviously so many people almost get enamored by the shooting wide open, and in reality, I think the professionals rarely do.
It's a fab.
That's true. That's true.
Well, my 2 cents worth on this is this, and I think Roy can definitely relate to this. What these people who say, "Well, it's only f4." Well, even back in the day when we shot with the Hasselblads and Mamias and whatever, all the lenses were f4 or more because commercial guys. I mean, they're not shooting wide open. That's crazy. You lose the job.
And medium format lenses
It's
always traditionally not. They by design they weren't as fast as what you'd put on a 35 millimeter camera.
Well, that's the whole point. It's not supposed to be, because it's supposed to be a commercial camera, and you start shooting with a bokeh on it, you lose a job. Your client would fire you.
Yep.
I mean, you shoot a hair commercial, and what, you gotta go blur the hair? No, they want to see DNA. Procter and Gamble and stuff like that, they want to see DNA. So you stop down the F16 or 9 or whatever. They want pin sharp for their product. So these guys in the peanut gallery say, well, there's no bokeh. It's only f4. I mean, come on, guys, get a clue. It's a 16-bit camera.
Exactly.
You can't look at it as like some 35 1.7 1.2. It's a different animal.
That's right.
Exactly.
This is for guys this is designed for people who want to make money, and then they just Fuji just happens to put it in a little rangefinder thing. So you got to work with it. But if you expect 135 type performance, it only shoots 4 frames per second. Hey, bro, man, this thing is 100. There's 600 megabyte files.
Yeah,
16-bit. 4 frames per second. My Sony does 30.
It's for a whole different type of photography.
Right. So the peanut gallery is out there saying all this nonsense, but people like, I'm sure myself and Roy and the old school who's used medium format, the whole point is to stop down and get everything pin sharp.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. I agree with you.
And having a 16-bit performance out of a camera that only weighs, what, a little over a pound?
Exactly.
I mean, give me a break, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it threw me because it looked so tall, and then I actually made a point of going in and looking at all the latest models of the Nikon cameras, and I said, it's actually smaller than a Z6 III.
Yeah, it is. It
So
is.
nobody should have anything to complain about.
And the other beauty is this aspect ratio thing that most people won't understand is that Fuji made a huge line of what do you call different aspect ratio 120 cameras. They had 16 by 17s, 6 by
They had
17,
6x7
by
cameras,
9.
6x9s.
Right, they had a whole slew
They
of
had
those things.
6x4.5.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the one thing that gets me mad. Like even if you go back to the D850, they got rid of the Z9. They don't have the 5:4 ratio anymore, which would be like for 8x10s, right?
Right,
So you got a lot of people that their customers want 8x10s, and now you got to screw around with it in post, and it would be, I don't know why they don't add. I mean, that's something, you want to complain to Nikon a little bit. Add a few more aspect ratio choices in your cameras.
That's why I think that Fuji did a home run to be able to put it on the dial. The other models, they do have it. You just got to go into the menu to choose the aspect ratio.
Yeah.
But like Diana knows, like half these shots that she took, I wasn't around. I was too busy talking to my bros.
I know who's spending better time.
She's out there getting into it, and I'm going, oh man, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, what's up, man?
John's sitting at home petting the camera and saying, "Oh, it's so pretty."
This photo, Diane, is beautiful. It's a great photo. I mean, it's like for a spread of a magazine, correct?
Yep.
This photo that you're showing right now, I actually shot it with an ISO 3002.
Wow.
Because the lighting was not very good there. So that's why I can only max out, on the speed of 1/400. And so I would like to use a higher speed, but my ISO is pushed up to 3002. But it's still very clean. I mean, this basically is with very little post processing. I just crop it.
Yeah.
So the ISO, I think even for high ISO 3002 is actually quite good, very clean.
Yeah. So anyway, wonderful. So let's go back from the images to Diana and John.
Give me a second here, and I got to bring Luis. I got to bring Luis back in here too. Luis keeps leaving us. He's drinking coffee or scotch or something. I don't know what he's doing. Let me get out of this. It's not letting me. I'm trying to find it here.
I can stop sharing on my side.
I think you gotta do it at your end.
Yeah, I share again when we get back.
Yeah,
That way we force it. Thank you, Luis, that you're back here. So before we go to Luis, our keynote speak. Imagine we have all this already, and we still have not reached our keynote speak. I want Diane and John to comment as well, because indeed the dilemma. I mean, I love this camera. I obviously, I don't think we will be able to create such a beautiful images as you do, correct? But I'm with Jeff. This is a camera that I would think about having as a second camera, just to be able to, like you said, Diana, to work with 100 megapixel in a compact body, for an environmental type of portrait, which is all this that you have been doing here, correct? And have it at your disposal, and you get the beauty of this 100 megapixel with 16-bit, correct? I know John was going to mention the DNA, so that's I know that was coming from
well, I got the Leica Q3, and I use digital stabilization, and it's fine. So I think the new camera you guys are going to get has that digital stabilization.
Yeah, but that's only for video.
No kidding.
It's only for video.
But
Oh.
and
But
also
you know what? But you know what? John and I, most of us have been around long enough where image stabilization. What the blankety blank is that?
Yeah, what was that?
You had to be able to handhold. You leaned against a tree. You laid
Stop
on the
breathing.
ground. You leaned against a wall. You jammed your elbows into your ribs and you made sure you weren't moving. You held your breath or you did whatever you had to do, you know, and you made it work.
Yeah.
Ask Roy. Roy, you know, Roy, when you shoot commercial with your Hasi, you're gonna shoot wide open. Come on.
No, I'm not. Most of my
See?
portraits are at least
Exactly.
5, 6, or 8.
Not
You,
only
you
that,
want to get the whole person in the focus anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
Ibis
here.
comes out, you know, and then Ibis comes out, and then it's almost like because it's out, everybody says, I want to see how slow I can go. Whatever
there you
happened to the days where the general rule of thumb was you shot at the reciprocal of your focal length. If you had
there
a
you
500
go.
millimeter lens, you shot at 1/500th. If you had a 20 millimeter lens is 1/20th or whatever. But I'm just saying, is people seem to have forgotten the old school stuff,
exactly.
and it still works. I'm sorry, it still works.
Exactly.
Or use a tripod.
And then you can do, you know, because it's a leaf shutter, you can use very high synchronization speed with your flash. And you were saying, Diana, that you use flash on the Nigerian model with the flowers.
Yeah. I use the flash, the strobe on on both models.
Exactly.
So, but it's very important that for me the leaf shutter, because initially I was shooting with the 100S, this camera, and I couldn't do it because I thought I got it mixed up because all Hasselblad lens, they are leaf shutter.
Yeah.
And I thought that Fuji is a leaf shutter. I said, hey, how come I cannot get the high speed? Then they said, oh, no, it's not. Then I said, oh, okay. Now I realized that I don't know why it got mixed up. Then when I changed to the RF, it was just so easy to control. And then another thing is because it's 35 mm. When I took the picture of the Nigerian lady, all I need to do is to get very close to her.
Exactly.
I just have to walk, towards her and then stick the camera quite close to her and then to get that shot. And then you don't need to crop, you don't need to do anything. You just have to adjust, your distance to the subject.
Exactly.
Yeah, feet still work. People forget
It
that
still work.
feet still work,
Yeah. Power zoom.
Yeah. You have the best power zoom that you could buy, and you don't have to pay for it. It's your legs.
It's your legs,
Works
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Works
Of course,
good.
the angle will be different, but I mean, sometimes you don't have a lot of lens with you. In a situation, you just have to adapt to things. Or IBIS, I don't have a problem with that without the IBIS, because I know that if they have to put the IBIS into this RF, it's not the camera body is thicker or bigger, it's the lens. Fuji actually thought about putting the IBIS into the body, but the problem is the lens, the 35 mm lens. If they have to put the IBIS, that the lens will be much bigger, and this is not what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the weight, of course, with the IBIS and all that.
I mean,
So
that may be something a couple years down the road.
yeah,
And another option for people, and it's just that it's another option.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jeff, I think this is a home run, and
yeah, I'm so happy you guys that you were both able to come on tonight and share your experience with the camera, and that me just jabbering about specs and opinions and everything. I mean, I work with what I got. I don't have the camera, so I got to work with what I got. And but it's great that when you have people that actually use it and have used it, and you're in that ecosphere anyway, because you do a lot of medium format, and it's not just Fuji. I mean, you've got and you've shot with Leicas, you have Leicas, you've shot with Hasselblads, you've shot with older film medium format cameras. So you can't ask for better folks to talk to about this camera than you
And more
guys. So
important, they
thank
have
you so much.
Diana and John have the talent, correct? Because you can, yeah,
Well,
we don't have.
John's always looking for bodies. So I mean, Diana's pictures are a little prettier.
I'm always chewing the fat with my buddies.
Yeah.
The talent. If you have the talent and you have the equipment, you can use this. Go and subscribe to her Instagram account. You will not regret it. You will see lots of pictures. And now we have to go to Mr. Luis before he go to sleep.
We got to let Luis go in here
Oh,
and
yeah,
do his
he-
presentation
Luis is in
before he
Yeah.
passes out.
Yeah, I'm in Europe. Yeah.
He's
Yes,
in Spain, right?
No, I'm in the Netherlands.
in the
Oh, the Netherlands.
I keep on traveling. That's why you don't know where I am.
And Luis will do his presentation. So Luis, you take it from here.
Yeah, sure. The only problem I had so far was that every 5 minutes I'm losing connection. I don't know why. That's why I kept on.
We will try.
You will try. So let me go back. How do I? Okay, I have to share. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Plus, right? Plus. No, screen share.
The little
Screen share.
Screen share. Window. No.
You got to have the app open already before you do the screen share.
Yeah, I have it.
Then
Do
you
see
go.
it?
Then you click on screen share and you click on window and you find your
Yeah.
file or your.
I think I have it already. Can you
yeah.
guys see something?
And yeah, I got it. Give me a second. I got to turn it on. That's all.
Beautiful.
I'm trying to write a thank you note in the chat to Diane and John. Multitasking.
Multitasking. So
Jeff.
let's see. Can you? Am I moving? No, I'm not moving the pictures, am I?
No.
Yeah, you can move them, correct?
No.
There you go. Yep.
So Thailand. Well, some of you have been in Thailand before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't ask me.
Okay. So did you see any wildlife in Thailand then?
Oh yeah. Soy cowboy.
Okay, very good. Very good. Now, this is Thailand. So it's located in Southeast Asia, north of Malaysia. And then
At my home.
All right, yeah.
That's where I am now.
Beautiful.
It's big. And I just go back. You see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the eastern part of Thailand, we have you have different fauna than from the west and from the south. So you have a lot of Indo-Chinese bird species and other animals to the east. Here in the south, you have a lot of Malaysian animals. The landscape is also different because it rains more often and everything is green all year round. And more or less around just to the southwest of Bangkok, the
We lost you. Wonder if we lost them.
A lot of Malaysian animals. The landscape is also different.
Just hear him.
It's more often and everything is green all year round. And more or less around just to the southwest of Bangkok,
We lost you. Yeah, we're kind of hearing your voice repeating what you had already said.
Just hear him.
And
everything is green all year round. And
yeah, we're not getting a signal from you. We're definitely not getting a signal from you, Louise. You may not even be able to hear us. Yeah, we're kind of hearing a
feed echo.
voice repeating what you had already said.
Just hear him.
And, yeah, we're not getting a signal from you. Yeah, he's gone, guys. We're not getting a signal from you, Louis. So you may not be able to hear us. We're kind of hearing a
Yeah, we're good for F too.
repeating what you had already said. We're in a loop here. I don't know if somebody
Or someone else's internet is on with the voice.
Somebody else's internet is on, yeah,
Read it.
repeating us over and
No,
over
but I
and
think
over.
it's
He's gone, guys. We're not getting a signal from you, Louis. So you may not be able to hear us. We're kind of hearing a. We're stuck in a loop, guys. Repeat what you had already said. We're in a loop
Speaking
here.
gremlins.
I don't know how we get rid of this.
Or someone else's internet is on with the voice.
Somebody else's internet is on, yeah, repeating us over and over and over. He's gone, guys. We're not getting a signal from you, Louis. So you may not be able to hear us. We're kind of click this all off and see. We're stuck in a loop, guys. Yeah, see where it's coming from.
Gremlins.
I don't know how we get rid of this.
Or someone else's could it be on? All right, yeah,
John's.
yeah.
It's
You left
John.
the internet on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, John, kill your internet feed. We're getting a continuous loop of Luis, even though we lost.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So we were losing our minds.
Okay, I just turned it off.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you, sir. Well, I don't know when he's going to come back. So what do we want to do? We want to jump to a different topic and then come back.
What happened to him?
He's been
going off
dropping
and
out
on.
like every 5 minutes, and so I don't know if he's going to be able to reconnect or not.
Let me know.
Internet on his side?
Yeah, on his end, yeah.
Let me show something here. Let me share, Jeff. We can do this, which is short. And if it doesn't connect, then we can go to your thing. So I actually decided to put a slide here for a big discussion or commentary about photography in entertainment. Okay, and these are wonderful pictures that that I have seen recently, right? That are somewhat related to photography, which I recommend. Correct. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Netflix series Black Mirror. Right. The season 7 was recently released. I think about a few days ago, and there is one of the episodes called Eulogy. It will be very interesting for you guys to watch. Right. Yeah, so that I think there is even out of this season another of the episodes is also related to cinematography. So, but that particular eulogy with John Gimanti is fantastic, in my opinion. Correct? It's subjective. Also from Netflix, and this is a little bit older, but we have not been able to discuss it before, is as limited series, which is more difficult for me to recommend because it is extremely difficult sometimes to watch, right? Which called Adolescence. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I saw the first episode, and it's a POV style camera or something.
Yeah, it's difficult to watch. I think it tells a lot about society, okay, at this moment, in particular, young individuals. Now, I put it here because from the cinematographic point of view, it's fantastic. All the scenes are shot in a go, even the action photos, correct, without cutting between. And if you decided to watch this, and again, be prepared, it's difficult to watch, correct? There is a particular scene where they go from the school into the car park continuously, and then into a shot in a drone, and from the drone it travels to another location where something important to the plot happened, correct? So that is if you watch the cinematography of that, uh, and if you get into the difficult subject, I think we all people can learn something about what's going on with young people as well here. And then in the middle, I have a picture here, which is from Kate Winslet, called Lee, which is actually a story, a real story from female photography during Second World War. And that's another wonderful picture. So these are kind of my photographic entertainment recommendations. And I don't know, Jeff, if Luis is back.
Luis is back. We could switch him right in here.
Exactly.
So we will switch over. And we will
This is quite
maximize it.
annoying, in fact.
And yeah, hopefully you have better luck this time.
Yeah, but it's keeping on. I don't know where I lost you guys, but
You
this
went
was
to the map.
You were at the map, and you
Yeah.
were. But why don't we just keep going from where you are now?
Yeah, that's fine. So we drove quite a lot. I don't know if you heard that. We heard we drove 3,600 kilometers, which is more than 5,500 miles. So that was quite a bit. We didn't want to fly, so we could go and stop at different places. So we went to Pactale, and where you can see on top, that's the spoonbill sandpiper. It was I had seen this bird before, but it's a bird which is critically endangered, and there are a lot of other shorebirds there. And just to give you an idea of, can you see the next picture, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you imagine trying to find one particular bird in such a sea of shorebirds? It's really incredible. You see more than 30 different species, or you can see, of shorebirds in those salt pans and marshes, and it's quite incredible. This is one I took before. This is a gray plover. You have those in the United States as well, I think.
Yes.
Yes, and well, I think I like this shot because it was flying around. So this is if you want some technical, this was with a 500 PF, by the way, with the Z8.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Excellent. So this is the spoonbill sandpiper. We saw this here. This is a huge crop, but you can see the bill, which is quite characteristic of it. They think there are about 4 or 5 of these birds in those salt marshes. Wow. So we saw one, and there are thousands of other birds. So we had a guide for this one because he was looking for every individual bird, even the ones asleep, just to be sure that he wouldn't miss it. Let's see if I can move. Oops, no, I cannot. I go to the next one, and I make it big. So this is a painted stork, something, a big bird you can see there as well. And in the background, you have some greater egrets. In marshes, and this is downtown in Bangkok, so you have to be careful, John, when you go there. This is a monitor in one of the parks, in the Lumpini Park. It's yeah, they are huge, but they normally don't. Well, they don't do anything. Especially on these parks, they are used to tourists not paying attention, and you almost step on one of them. But they are quite impressive. They are quite. I don't know. They can be what, 2 meters or longer, even 6 feet. Or
yeah, beautiful.
This is even bigger.
Yeah.
Oy.
This is a Siamese crocodile. Was a nice surprise. They were kind of extinct in the wild, and then there are some protective measures in Thailand, and some individuals escaped as well in the past from farms, because they do have a lot of crocodile farms there, and there are a few small pocket populations, and we were kind of happy to see this one crossing the road. We saw the people.
You wouldn't get away with stepping on very easily.
Yeah, well, they are quite big.
This is in Lumpini Park. You saw a croc there?
No. That was
Oh.
the Lumpini Park. That was the monitor.
Oh, okay.
This was in
Yeah.
central Thailand, in one of the biggest lake they have there.
Beautiful.
This is a red wattled lapwing, very common bird everywhere in Thailand.
Ooh.
This is a small pratinco, a lot less common. This is in the northwest of Thailand. We searched for this colony for a little while. We knew there was a colony of these birds next to a bridge, but unfortunately we were looking at the wrong bridge. So after checking online, we go like, oh, I think it's like 2 kilometers down the road, and then we found the colony, and they were quite fun to photograph. This was with a 600 PF, a Z9 or Z8, I don't remember.
Okay.
But we were next to the river as low as we could, and some of them would just cross. This is a fish owl, a buffy fish owl, also associated to water. So my first set of pictures are animals that you can find near water, hence the crocodile and the water monitor. This was seen during daytime. I've been there before, and I knew there was a favorite tree for this species there, and we couldn't find it, but he was actually asleep on a different tree, just next to the one I had seen 2 years earlier.
Beautiful.
Anyway, it was still there. You see a lot of these signs with a translation in English, so otherwise you wouldn't know what it meant. This is the picture I sent to Gustavo to make the thumbnail.
Wow.
This was in Khao Yai National Park, middle of the road. I was with my wife and a guide, and the advantage there of having a guide is that they are continuously in contact with each other. So at some point, someone spotted an elephant, and the guide said, "Do you want to see one, or we continue whatever we were doing? So let's try to see it." And then we followed it from a distance for a while. But there were a lot of cars to the back of me taking a picture. And they are very conscious of the elephants there. They don't approach the elephant. It looks close, but I'm quite far. This was with a 24-120 lens I had. I tried to take a picture of him with a 500 PF, but there was not much to see. Gibbons, you hear them a lot. You see them occasionally, but they are widespread. In most national parks, you will, with some luck, or if you can hear them and find a trail that leads to them. These are Lars gibbons, or black-handed gibbons. They have two different names. They have also two different colors. I have also a picture of a black one, but it's not good enough for this show, I think.
Wow.
This one is
not that critical. Come on.
Well, this one is looking a bit critical to me, so I thought let's go to a different monkey. This is a langur, a dusky langur, also rather common. You see them a lot. And this one is mother with baby.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The babies are orange. And this one is, let me think, it's to a national park to the west, actually halfway through. I took this picture. The first picture I took this year with my friends, and this one is from 2 years ago when I went there with my wife. A lot of highlights here. It's always difficult to get the exposure and get the monkey in with a bit of green background, but you get it sometimes. A sun bear. No, we thought we were lucky to see one. We actually saw, I think, 4 of them this year. They were coming to drink water behind a few restaurants in Kaeng Krasheng National Park. So we saw a few in different days, different locations, but they were all approaching the restaurant to drink water. So it was a bit of a surprise, but apparently they do it a lot, and the people there were really, they were even shouting to the bear and go away, because the bear there are used to people. I don't think they have any attacks there, but I suppose if they can survive an environment with tigers,
Yeah.
they could do some damage, but they were just going there to drink water. Malayan porcupine, you have those in Malaysia as well, John. I don't know if you saw one ever.
I've never seen one, Luis. Maybe Sanjit has, but I have.
I'm sure.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
At
Be a-
night,
there should be a
Kauai, they
sign
are.
hanging- There should be a sign hanging off of that animal that says "Do not touch."
Do not touch. So you see, the animal is not completely framed because this is with a 500 PF with a flashlight
Oh, wow.
Oh.
from a car. So
Wow.
it's the speed is quite low. I'll just go on with the show, but on my other screen, I'll look for the settings. So this is also another a bark deer, also typical of let's say jungle or forest environments. This also in the west of Thailand, in the Kan Krashang. Sometimes they approach water holes that most national parks have to attract mammals. And yeah, we were just driving by, and this deer was there. In fact, on most national parks in Thailand, the guides, or if you are alone, if you see a body of water, always have a look, because mammals, elephants, gaurs, whatever, you might see some mammals. Some people specifically look for mammals, and they can spend hours waiting for a leopard to show up. But I'm not that patient, to be honest. I normally look for a while, and then I continue. This little fellow is an Himalayan striped squirrel. I forgot to tell you, but on the west of Thailand, from the north to the south, you see a lot of Himalayan related species. Some of them go down towards, say, west of Bangkok, but they normally don't go further than that. So towards Malaysia, you get different species. This one kind of, the distribution also stops just to the west, southwest of Bangkok, but it extends towards Myanmar and towards Himalayan range. This is a sunbeam snake.
Wow.
It reflects a lot of light. That's the name of the snake in English, then sunbeam. It burrows itself. So if you see the front of the snake is quite flat, and it has a very small mouth. So normally, I don't think it's even able to bite us as such. This snake I actually rescued from it. It was in a small ditch, but because these snakes are not very good at climbing, it couldn't get out of the ditch. At first, I didn't know what it was. I had my backpack with a camera, so I gave my camera to my wife and said, I think I'll take this snake out. My wife asked the typical question, is it dangerous? And I said, well, I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I'll be. So I grabbed it by the tail. It didn't look dangerous, but that's not a guarantee for any snake, especially in Australia. I wouldn't do it in Australia anyway. Put it in my backpack, took it outside, and then it didn't want to leave my backpack. So it was a nightmare to get it out.
Yeah.
But that later I realized why, because these snakes are used to go underground, look for insects, frogs, and so forth. When it finally got out, then I identified the snake and then realized why it couldn't get out of the ditch. They are not very, say, agile, these snakes. So I let it go, and as it went away, I took a picture. This is another snake. This one needed no rescue, was just there. It's Gason bronzeback. Now, bronzebacks are very common throughout Malaysia, Singapore, and Indochina. And this one was just on top of this palm leaf. And as I was walking, I just saw it. And then I took a few pictures. It was very tolerant of our presence. In Asia, you see a lot of skinks. This is a many-lined sun skink, very common through, I think, in Malaysia as well. I'm pretty sure I saw one in Malaysia when I was there. With a macro lens, I think was a Tokina, flashlight, but you see the scales. I mean, without a flashlight, I wouldn't be able to take this picture, but they reflect a lot. You don't always see the true color on skinks, but they are really fun to photograph if they tolerate your presence. So this picture I've sent before to your show, a greater hornbill. The one I didn't send was this one.
Yeah.
This one I saw this year for the first time. It's a white-crowned hornbill. They are a lot more common in Indonesia and Malaysia than they are in Thailand. I was actually surprised to see them because the distribution doesn't, well, I thought they would not go as far north as we saw them. But apparently they do, because there were at least two there. I think the male is on the left, the female is on the right, but I'm not completely sure. Really big birds. This one was taken with a 600 PF, and I was quite far, and I had to go even further back to frame them with a bit of landscape around. Another hornbill species. This is a pied. This is the most common hornbill you'll see in Southeast Asia.
Now, what kind of plant is that?
That's a banana.
That's a banana tree?
Yep.
Yeah. The leaves here on the right are from the banana tree.
Okay.
Actually, and at the back you have some palm trees, and these dried leaves here are also from the banana tree.
Okay.
It's not a tree. It's a kind of banana tree. Let's call it.
Yeah.
I actually saw him eating some bananas when I passed by, and we were looking to a different bird, for a different bird. But he came back, and then I went there to get this kind of isolated background. And he was there, very cooperative, so I took a picture when he turned his head. This is also a type of bird a lot of bird watchers want to see. They are broadbills. This photo is not particularly sharp, but you can see what the bird looks like.
That's a really weird color.
Yes, and they move in big groups when they are not outside of the mating season. So this probably from the broadbills the one you could see the most. This is also a broadbill.
Wow.
This was in the dark forest. At the end of the day, a lot of birds go and drink water or go for a bath. So this one I took this picture with a guide, but I've seen these ones later on my own, just looking for, at the end of the day, along water streams and so on. This one is a silver-breasted broadbill. It's a family of birds that the broadbills are a lot of people that go on bird tours specifically want to see. Let's see what else is coming now. This is a barbet eating some type of fig, I think. This is a blue-throated barbet, the one you probably see and hear the most. They make a continuous loud noise, and even in Bangkok you hear a different type of barbet, which is also very common. This is probably the second most common heard, because there is another one which is very common in parks. This is a green-eared barbet, less common, but still. If you find a fruit tree, fig tree or other, you see a lot of birds. I think in Asia, for me the biggest difference of finding birds, and I asked my friends in Thailand or Malaysia or in Costa Rica, they are a lot easier to find any type of bird than in Asia. In Asia, I don't know, it looks like you have less flowers around. I'm not sure. There are plenty of flowers, but they attract less birds. Maybe because there are no hummingbirds, you kind of have this idea. And the birds in Asia are a lot more skittish towards people than in Costa Rica. So if you find a tree, a lot of birds will show up.
Oh.
So this is also a trogon, different family than the trogons in the Americas. bit technical, but they look the same. It's
Wow, beautiful.
this is an orange-breasted trogon, a male. I removed a few pictures from this presentation, otherwise it takes too long. This is other than, so we have barbets, you have broadbills.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
and now we have Pita that we lost Luis.
Again. Yeah. It'll be back shortly.
Well, while we're waiting for him, wow, what a wonderful presentation,
Beautiful.
Luis.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see birds like that where I am. That's for sure.
And that 500 is still a great lens.
Oh,
Yeah,
we got him back. We got him back.
Yeah, oh good. This is a 500 PF.
Yeah.
Exactly. You were going to say Pita and then got interrupted.
Yeah, but I'm back. I can see I'm online again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. So this is a 500 PF again with the blue Pita. What a lot of guides do in Thailand is that they leave grubs and insects and pieces of food in some logs throughout the forest. You are walking there, and if you wouldn't know, they just leave food there, and some birds get used to it, and it's like your own feeder, but in the middle of the forest. In some national parks, this is illegal, and they don't do it. But even if you don't put any food, the birds are so used to people that sometimes they go and have a look. Oh, there is nothing, and then they fly away. This is an oriole.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Black hooded or black headed, don't remember. These are also not so easy to see, but you do. If you go for 3 weeks, you definitely see once or twice.
I tried to photograph that so many times, Luis, but it's in the film days. So it was a lot more difficult. Beautiful image.
Real nice.
This is in at someone's backyard.
Wow.
Oh my.
This is the same stream where that silver-breasted broadbill was. Same day, a few minutes difference. I took also this picture. This is a common green magpie. The name common is not correct because they are very difficult to see. But again, same story. End of the day, they go and take a bath, and if you are there at the right stream at the right place, then you're lucky. Took this picture with a 500 PF 2 years ago, but for instance, this time around we were not very lucky with the streams or the conditions. Everything was a little bit drier than back then, and for some reason we didn't find that many birds under these conditions. We did try though. Let me see. This picture, just to give an idea, was taken at 1/60th of a second with a 500 PF, and I was with a camera and lens holding against a tree trunk to keep it stable.
Wow.
ISO is 8,000.
Oh wow.
So if I wouldn't have gone down to 1/60th, I could not have taken this picture. But it's still it's good. I mean, it's good enough.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, look how sharp that is. Oh my goodness.
So with a bit of skill, you can lower, and that Pita was taken at 1/15th of a second. Huh? This is a crazy looking bird. It's a kind of bee eater. It's a red-beard bee eater. Lives in Thailand. Is right at the northern edge of its distribution. It runs. It's one of those species that run down towards Malaysia and go up to that national park, Kan Krasheng, and that's kind of their northern range. So there you can see some species which are typically for Malaysia, and others which are typically from the north. This one I'd never seen before. This one was taken at, I don't know, almost 1,500 meters altitude. parking lot. We left the car. There were people looking somewhere, and like, oh, there's one there, and stayed there for a little while. And they stay still for quite some time, allowing for great pictures. And then they move a little bit, grab a flying insect, and then they stay again still for a little while. So they are very easy birds to photograph, but very spectacular ones.
Almost like the mammoth, huh?
Indeed, yeah, indeed. But less. Yeah, he is a lot fatter. He's a lot plumber.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying the
Exactly.
behavior.
No, you're
that they will
completely
go
right. You're
over.
completely right. Yeah. This is a whistling thrush. They generally make nests under in caves originally, but they use human structures like roofs, under bridges. They are very common, but they don't normally let themselves. Yeah, I was quite far with this picture as well. This is also a typical one. It's with the 600 PF, and I'm quite far, and the speed I'm quite low as well, because a lot of these birds live in very shady areas. So let's have just a quick look for the details. So 600 PF. Okay, this is at 1/320th of a second, ISO 10,000.
Wow.
But it's still okay.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, look how sharp that is.
Yeah, there is a bit of noise here, of course, but it's. I mean, we should not complain about these pictures, to be honest.
Yeah, you wouldn't see that in a print anyway.
No,
Exactly.
no. And 20 years ago, you couldn't take the picture at all.
That's right. You would just keep walking.
Yeah. So this is I always forget the name of this one. Well, it's an owl. It's a Scops owl, colored Scops owl.
Wow.
Also quite dark conditions, a bit of backlight there on top. So it turned out okay, but this is also must have a ridiculous ISO. And then I continue. Let's see details. This is with a 500 PF, 320th of a second, because I had to hold the camera. I couldn't lean against anything. And the ISO, of course, is 25,600.
Yeah.
800, what is it? Yeah. But still, yeah, I have a picture to remind me of the trip, so that's very nice.
Oh, wow.
What Thailand is also famous for are butterflies. I don't remember the name of this specific species, but this you can see where it is in Kaeng Kracheng National Park. It's known for it. Look, there are everywhere along the road where there is a bit of a wet spot. They congregate to get some minerals, and you have. It's difficult to isolate a butterfly in that national park because you see so many. And if you say, I want to take a picture of this yellow one, good luck. You have to wait a while before that yellow one is isolated, and you can actually take a photograph. So this one, you see, it was standing alone there for a little while, but all around it, you see different species.
Yeah.
Flying. So you have to be a bit patient. A lens which is excellent for this type of photography is a 180-600.
That's right.
It's a beautiful lens for this because you cannot get too close, but you have to continuously move and look for one which is isolated. And by the time you get there, it flew away. So it can be frustrating as well, but rewarding when you get a good picture. Now, what you have there as well in Thailand, especially around Kaeng Kracheng, are a lot of private-owned hides.
Okay.
This is at the back of a garden. So I went there. I made no reservation. Got there. The lady speaks a bit of English, and they have like a feeding station in the front with fruits. And then, to my surprise, she said, I have a hide at the back. Oh, okay. So, and I paid, I don't know, $8 for the whole day, And I stayed there, went back to my wife and said, oh, I can actually go back there later. I go for a hike, and went back. This is a 500 PF. And it doesn't look it looks a bit shabby, but okay. A lot of birds show up. This is a different height, a little bit more high tech. This is me with the Z8, the 200 to 500, and this is Dizzy.
Oh, we lost.
I don't think we lost him again.
Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, there he is.
Because the 180 to 600 is quite long. And so I decided, well, I'll take the old lens. I mean, it's still good. And so this height, I think it can hold up to 12 people.
Wow.
And this is my friend Matt here at the back. And then there was a group of, I think they were all English at the back. And behind me, well, the person that took this picture is my other friend. And then there were a few others behind him.
You're looking pretty serious there.
And Luis, this is in the mountains. I think you're dressed for a little bit of gold. Oh, we lost Luis?
I guess
Yeah.
we lost.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
And he's back.
There he is, and he's back.
Oh, yeah. I saw it. Am I sharing something or not? No. Huh?
No.
Oh, I have to do it all over again. Huh?
Yeah.
Give me a second. Anyway, you see the way those heights look like.
Yeah.
But the amount of species that show up is really incredible.
Wow.
And it revolutionized also all the birding tours in Thailand. And it's actually, there is a lot of revenue for the local farmers and the local people there.
Yeah, of course.
And let me know when you can see.
We're good.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Fowl.
Yeah, so this is a red jungle fowl, also called chicken. But this is the original race, the original. And if it's funny, the first time you go to Thailand or Malaysia and you're walking in the forest and you hear a chicken, you go like, where are they? But they are wild, of course.
Yeah.
So they approach these heights, but you don't need a height to see. You need a height to take a good picture. But normally the wild ones, they don't. You hear them, but you don't see them. This is a partridge, ferruginous partridge. Again, you would hear a partridge in the forest, but without these local heights, you would never take a picture of any of these partridges. Same with the college pheasant that I sent you guys 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Also from a height. A different species of partridge. Yellow-legged partridge. I think it has a different name as well, but I'm pretty sure this one is also called yellow-legged. What shows up in the heights as well are these creatures.
Wow.
A very small. It's one of the smallest species of deer.
Oh,
yeah, it almost looks like a clone between a deer and a mouse.
Yeah, they're called mouse deer.
Okay.
This specific one has, it's called Lesser Oriental Chevrotain, but it's a mouse deer.
Yeah.
I've seen these or a different species in Malaysia just by seeing something running in front of me very quickly, but forget about taking a picture.
Yeah, they are timid.
They are very timid. If you see them, it's just by chance and they are running away. And you think it's a mouse. But they do approach these heights to drink water. So you don't even have to put food so much to attract other birds or anything. Just put a pool of water during the dry season. And a lot of animals will show up. So you see this picture? So this is me carrying way too much stuff. And there were 2 local birders. There was a small flycatcher on that twig there. And this gentleman here on the right, he had an icon. I remember that. I don't know what this gentleman had, but they were very friendly. They actually waved to me to come and have a look. because there was for Thailand a very rare species of flycatcher. He's right there, I think. Anyway, it was a species I had seen in Europe, but for them was extremely rare. So they were very happy to show it to me. But I just happened to walk there by chance. So I'll show you another picture of people photographing in the wild. And you can see photography goes in all kinds of gear. Is not important. Is taking a right picture.
And certainly no camouflage.
No, the gentleman on the left was not prepared for wildlife photography at all.
No.
His backpack, his camera.
Just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how you dress; they don't care.
No. Everything is different from the way I was prepared.
Yeah.
But he was a very nice gentleman. He was a Danish. I walked with him for a while afterwards, and he was happy to have seen. This is what we were taking a picture of. It's a butterfly lizard.
Oh.
Common butterfly lizard, I think. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, common butterfly lizard. He was just there. He was pointed out to me by somebody else that was outside of the frame. And then that Danish guy came and joined me. And my wife saw the opportunity to take a picture of both of us.
Okay.
So we are now in open areas. What you can also find in open areas there is this red snake. This is Indo-Chinese whip snake. This fellow was skunking around, and I was able to take this picture, also with a 500 PF. Am I still on air?
Yeah.
We're just staring at the pictures and listening to you.
No, that's fine. No, but because of what happened before.
Yeah, you're good.
Also, an animal that you can see on mainly open areas, but not only, is this is a golden jackal. This picture was again 500 PF, middle of the night with a flashlight.
Wow.
From a car.
You must have one heck of a flashlight to light it up.
No, but this one was with the guides, and he had a big light.
Okay.
Shining. But it would work otherwise. I have another picture that I'll probably show you later, not from Thailand, but also I'll leave it for later. Anyway, these animals you can see at night. This is a pig-tailed macaque. And on Gustavo's request, I send you this picture again.
Yeah. Nice makeup.
Nice makeup. So this is a male. The other one was also a male, but for some reason it didn't have the same colors as this one.
Yes. Beautiful.
But this is from quite a big distance. This is at this moment. I only had the 600 PF with me, and it was quite far, but it allowed me to make this composition when it turned around.
Yes.
And this one was with the Z60, the Z52, and I actually had my macro settings on the camera because it was with f14. And as I mentioned before, I just grabbed the camera from the back of my car and took the picture.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Because I wasn't expecting a monkey. He was, I think, waiting for food, but I was happy that he was looking. We didn't give him any food anyway, but he was there. What you see a lot in open areas are sunbirds, which are kind of the counterparts of hummingbirds in the Americas.
Yes.
But they don't hover, they don't fly around, they just crawl towards flowers. This is an hornet sunbird, very common throughout Malaysia, Thailand. Is the most common you'll see in parks in the middle of a town. See this, you can see this everywhere. This is what you should look for if you see a flowering bush. This is a purple sunbird, less common, but we actually saw quite a lot of them in the northwest of Thailand. Maybe they are more common there than they are in the south. At least that's the impression I got. You see there were a lot of flowers here at the back. It was not easy to isolate this one from the bushes, and it took me quite a long time to get this picture.
Wow.
Because you look at the whites at the back.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, there were a few of these, and they were very aware of us being there, because they were quite a bit hungry that we were.
Did they attack you?
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I love the bouquet. Yeah.
This is another sunbird. This is.
Wow. Oh, lost.
No, that's Jeff.
I'm not a bird. I'm Big Bird.
Oh, okay.
Ruby chick.
Ruby. Oh yeah, that's it. Ruby chicked.
That'll scare everybody that watches this afterwards.
You'll see.
Oh, that's nice.
A woodpecker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gray-headed woodpecker. Now, this species lives from nearby where I live. They don't live in the Netherlands, but just a few, say maybe 60 miles east of us in Germany, this species already occurs. So they live from Central Europe all the way towards at least Thailand. It might be split from this one. They look a little bit different, but at the moment they are still considered the same species. Actually, I cleaned the background on this picture a lot. You wouldn't believe what the original looked like. Maybe I'll show you once to see what you can do on with your computer.
It looks beautiful. A roller.
A roller. Indo-Chinese roller. You see these almost everywhere. They spend the winter in Thailand.
Wow.
This looks like a roller, but it's a smaller one. It's another bee eater.
Yes.
But this one is typical of open areas. This is an Asian green bee eater. There is a different species of green bee eater in Eastern Europe, North Africa. But this one is the only one I saw. They are relatively common if you search along rivers and marshes, because they eat a lot of insects, of course, but dragonflies and bees.
And they have good perches that they return to.
Yeah, that's true. This one, I took this picture with a bit of effort from inside of my car, because if I would walk, they would fly away. So I went back to my car, waited, they came back, and then I positioned the car carefully so that they would tolerate the car, and then they flew on and off a couple of times, and then some of the pictures turned out quite good. 500 PF again, just for Jeff to be happy.
Oh yeah, makes me happy. I miss that one. I like that ones a lot.
Yeah. This is a chestnut munia, very small bird. They eat seeds of grasses and so on. These ones you can find alongside the road. Everywhere there is like a field with just grasses, you can find these birds. There are several species throughout Asia. This is a nightjar, Indian nightjar. This one we saw on the road in front of the car. Early morning, we were driving to the national park still in the dark, and this one was the second one we saw. We stopped the car. He didn't move, so we took a picture. This is with the flashlights of the car, and believe it or not, this is also with the 600 PF.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Even the eye looks good, because I was using no flashlight. So this same nightjar during daytime, well, not the same one, but same species.
Wow, it looks like a toad.
Yeah, he's just sleeping there. We actually, the evening before, we were along this track, and somebody said, oh, there was a nightjar there, but he became active at that moment. So he actually started flying around. One of us actually took a nice shot of him flying, but we memorized in which branch he was. So the day after we went looking for other birds. There was a lake there in the neighborhood. And then we thought, let's have a look on that same trunk to see if the nightjar would still be there. And of course, and he was there. Apparently he sleeps there every single day, at least for a long period of time. So we saw him during daytime. We actually approached him within 10 meters, 10 yards. He didn't move. There were dogs there as well. He didn't seem bothered by anything. But of course, if you would get even closer, he would fly away. He could see us. So typical nightjar behavior. If you know where one is, just keep your distance and take a picture from a distance. This is a colored scops owl. I was walking with my wife. This was taken 2 years ago, and I saw a bird leaving a dead tree, flying into a different tree. And I said to my wife, high chances that it's an owl. And then, of course, why would it be an owl? Well, this is a dead tree, and that bird disappeared into the other tree. It didn't fly away even after I walked around the tree. So it took me a while to find it, but he was looking at me.
Yeah.
He was right there.
That bird seems really, really small.
It's very small. It's one of the smallest species you have in Thailand. I can give you the size a bit later, but it's a very small species of owl. Saw it during daytime. End of the day, I was very happy to see it. Another small owl, and this is the opposite, was this year, right at just before 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
The sun had not risen yet. And then I don't know if I saw it flying or not. I don't think so. I just saw this form on top of a tree quite far from where we were having breakfast. So this is a heavy crop, because I went down the road into somebody's backyard. Nobody was at home, so I just kept on walking. And then this was the best position to take a picture of him, so that I had the mountains as a background and not the white of the sky.
Beautiful.
If I would approach more, then I would not have this grayish background, but only the white. Again, a big crop, 600 PF with almost any light. But yeah, you can take the picture.
Oh my God.
These are falconets. So they are small falcons, hardly bigger than, well, they catch insects mainly. So they are slightly bigger than a sparrow.
Wow.
And they live in family groups. So actually, the guide said somewhere on these trees, there should be a group of falcons. There were 6 of them. And this is a picture of 4, the whole family, but they are very, very small. They were not calling. I've seen these, and I found these myself by their call, generally thinking that they are something else because they are so small. But this is early morning. The sun was just out, and they were pruning themselves. They were getting ready for the day. And this is a huge crop, because we were down the road. I don't know how many pixels this is, but again, still good quality with the 600 PF. I think I even used a teleconverter, and it was still quite far.
Beautiful. Incredible.
Oh, my.
This is a wild peacock. This is a green peacock. It's not like the blue ones that we normally see everywhere throughout the world. That's the Indian subcontinent species. This species is becoming more and more common in the north of Thailand. They used to be very rare, but people started not to shoot them, to protect them. And there are a few projects there for releasing them into different areas. So successful that some farmers are getting worried about them eating their crops. So we went to this national park, or this reserve that was kind of known for having a big group of these peacocks, and they were just there.
Fantastic.
he was not displaying in a nice direction. So I went for a partial, photograph, because I couldn't take. I have a picture of the whole back of his tail spread, but it was not a nice. He was not he was in a hill with in the shade with lots of light at the back. So it was not the right spot for a general photo. But I think this works out okay.
It
Yeah.
was excellent. Yeah.
So
They'll be right back.
And now a commercial break for Pepto-Bismol.
I mean, they're gorgeous pictures.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure glad I got two screens going here, and so I can see the pictures for longer.
yeah, we
Oh,
actually crossed 2 abandoned military checkpoints, and there were empty bottles of gin as well to be found there.
Oh, wow.
But this is actually, I don't quite remember. Well, we were close to the border. Actually, we actually crossed to the other side. The guide said that's no problem. It's just they
And
don't
that's
use
border
that
with Myanmar? Or?
with Myanmar. Yeah, close to the border. We are not at the border, but along on the roads there, they keep they keep checkpoints. Apparently, this road was closed last year. We would not be able to be there if we were there last year, 1 year ago. But situation is stable or safe. They said we can go. Fine. Why were we there? That's me in a tent, middle of a road, early morning, and there is another tent. This is an eBird hotspot, and we were looking for a species of pheasant. We arrived there before sunrise. That's what you should do. Park on the left-hand side. It's all written down, and wait. And and then after waiting for 2 hours, and you see the amount of people there. This white car here, that was our car. There were 2 cars in front of us, and at the end of the session, let's say, there were like 6 or 7 behind us.
Wow.
Full with birders, and we were looking for this one.
Oh, wow.
This is Mrs. Zoom's pheasant, a very difficult bird to photograph, except there. You don't see them apparently every day. The morning before, they didn't show up. But we were there in the tent, waited for a while, and then he showed up with a few females. And this is something you don't want to have during your holidays. Any guesses what lens this is?
A white one.
Is or was.
Canon.
I think they were coffee cups, right?
Yeah. Well, let's say it became a 200 prime.
Oh, man.
This is becoming a very common occurrence.
Yeah, I kind of heard about it. Listen, what happened here? This is a 200 to 800 Canon.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
2 things happened here. The lens fell from the tripod.
Oh, man.
And what happened was that the sun cap got stuck. See the black thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on an attempt to unscrew the cap, this happened.
Oh, my.
I mean, this friend of mine was quite pissed off.
Yeah.
After a while, he got settled. Yeah, he said, what else can you do? Later, we actually told him, because before our trip, we had this WhatsApp conversation, and we were like, between the 3 of us, and his question was, shall I take the 200 to 800 or the 100 to 500? And my answer was, I'll take both. You never know what happens.
Exactly.
And in the heights, you probably need the 100 to 500 more. And this one is, I think it's f8 or 9, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's a good lens for good light and at a distance. So it took both, luckily, because this happened just before the end of the second week. This is also the last picture of my presentation.
Oh,
You
wow.
said you were there for 3 week span.
Almost 19 days.
Wow.
Well,
19
fantastic, Luis, as usual. Well, what can we say? We have seen you had shared with us birds and stories that you can only see in this channel, and we can only see because of you.
Also, thanks. But you know what my friend did with he called his wife. His wife got a hold of this travel insurance. We sent him a picture of well, he needs a proof that he was there. Then I said, well, we have the tickets. So he sent the tickets, our tickets to Thailand. He sent to the insurance company, or his wife did,
Yeah.
together with an invoice, because we had just bought some gasoline the day before. He sent that as well as a proof that he was there. And within an hour and a half, he knew that if the land could be repaired, it would be repaired for free. Otherwise, he would get, I think, it was 2,000 euros.
Wow.
So he got a lot more relaxed, and that was arranged through this travel insurance.
Wow.
Wow, that's good.
I know I had issues not with gear, but with losing shoes and whatever, and I never had a problem with my travel insurance. Even saying I don't have any shoes to prove that they were stolen, and they still paid for it. And then a picture.
Unless somebody stole one and you still had one left over.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. We lost one on the way out. So my wife ended up with one shoe, and we lost the second one. Still, we could buy a different pair of shoes. That was good.
Well, Luis.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. I mean, everybody was looking forward to it, and I'm sure everybody that's still hanging in here in the chat has enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Looking back at the comments here, and
I tell you a little secret. He went to Taiwan recently and offered to make us a presentation about Taiwan in the future. Yeah. So, the more to come.
More to come. But I still didn't process the pictures from Thailand.
So you still are processing from that. Well, you can make a part 2 on Thailand, because the kind of birds that we saw here, they were spectacular.
Yeah, but
you're probably still working on your pictures from Japan.
Well, Japan I'm finished. Hawaii I'm still working, but we got a presentation in about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. But that's the reason why I also thought, well, the 19th of April is a good moment, because I'm still with a massive jet lag, so I'll be awake anyway.
Well, Luis, again, thank you very much. Beautiful image. Thank you for sharing the thumbnail. I have a lot of fun creating that thumbnail. As Robert is saying, fantastic images.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, great, Luis.
Yeah. Let's, Jeff, I know that we're getting a little bit late here, so let's go back to sharing the screen, and that will be the cue for you.
Well, I don't know if we want to keep going or not. Does everybody still got air in there?
More important. So we have, in principle,
got gas in your tank, guys? Or are you ready to call a night?
I still have gas in my tank, but it's you, right? So we have your Kodak Prime Primo 1 quick presentation. You can make it, and then we have our advertisement for upcoming meetings.
Well, let's throw up the at least throw up the reminder. Now we for the, let me get it here. Reminder, guys, here for May 3rd photo review. Send the photos to me, selectiveimagery1@gmail.com, no later than 12 p.m. Eastern time on May 2nd, which is the Friday before the show. And the images to be, whatever you send me at this point. Try to limit it to, we say 4, but, we get 5 or 6. I'm not going to cry, but don't send me 20. And otherwise I'll just thin them out, and I'll tell you that ahead of time. They'll be thinned out if I get too many. But we always get so many good shots. I mean, when you go to thin anybody's out, you feel bad. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to have to do that. So don't put me in that position. Send me 4 or 5, and we'll be good. So anyway, we only have 20 images so far, so we got a lot of catching up to do in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So please send me whatever you have. It would be appreciated, and because we all enjoy seeing what we each of us do. So
exactly, and we will have Jeff. I haven't told you, but next week we talk. We will probably put a reminder so that people see something from us before May 3rd, reminding of the upcoming meeting. We know we need to keep hurting you towards the meeting so that we can get our 60 to 80 images, and because we enjoy it so much. And again, Luis, your images are fantastic in general, and your presentation here was tremendous. So
I mean, it's got to be you at this point, with the amount of travel that you've done over the years, and had the opportunity to go to, not just, I went to Costa Rica once,
Okay.
there many times. So you've really got to understand the lay of the land and the different species that are at different elevations and different, sections of that country. You should do a book, man. You could like knock it out of the park with a book with all the different species that you've seen, because you obviously, when you go to places, you know what you've gotten, what you have, you know what is still left on the list to look for, and every time you go back, you're looking for the ones you didn't get.
exactly.
And it's a lot more relaxing.
Yes, indeed.
Can I just show you 3 pictures in a row really quickly?
Yes, of course. Go ahead, and Jeff, you let us know whether you want to show your Kodak, okay?
Yeah, we'll see if there's anybody left to show it to.
We still have 20 people.
So
People will watch this anyway.
Yeah, it's just an example of what you can do with under a not so let's say good situation for one picture. If you can show it, then I'll.
We got it. Yeah.
You got it. So you can see this this crocodile, right?
Yeah, with a nice stick going across his face. Yeah.
There you go. So I had, when we went for this walk, I had the 600 PF with me only. And this crocodile was so big and decided to stop where those poles were and those trees. So what I did, I took this picture, then I moved a little bit, took this picture, and then I joined them.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. And you remove that chair in the background too.
Yeah.
Or a ladder or whatever that is.
My wife says this is not a true picture. She says I'm exaggerating a bit. Well, it's still the same crocodile.
Yeah.
You didn't clone anything in the crocodile. You just took 2 pictures and made one of it.
Well, I tried this is what your mind saw.
No, it is true. But so I tried to take a second picture where that pole was not covering the same teeth as the one before. And I knew I had to move as not as just 1 feet or just nothing to have the same angle, and it actually worked out quite well.
You see, this is on the section of techniques.
It is, yeah.
Tips, tricks, and cheats.
There you go.
Well, look, I mean, you have to get the picture, correct?
Yeah.
And you know what you're doing with your camera. You did what Luis did. I have no objection on this.
You know how it is. I mean, you'd print that, put it on the wall. Nobody's going to know. And the only ones that are going to do one of these are, so you're entering a photo contest and they go, oh, you did this,
and, but as a photograph of a species, this is
You got
perfectly
it. You
fine.
nailed it.
Yeah. Because my two friends had the head completely because they had zooms, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to go home with no picture of it.
Exactly. Fantastic. Please. For
So
sure.
don't show this to anyone.
No.
No, the millions of people that watch the show afterwards are going to see it, though.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you so much again, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We really do.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you very much.
You know how much time it takes to do this stuff. So thanks again.
Yep.
Well, we could. I could try to.
We still have 15 minutes.
We still have. Well, actually, we're 45 minutes over. 15 minutes to being an hour over, but that's okay. Let me find it here. So what I want to do. Oops, I just screwed myself up here. Okay.
Now we are in the section that we call vintage cameras.
Yeah, I got to.
A little too vintage.
I got to find the original file here. And I don't know what I did with it. Where's my original file? So that I can. There we go. So I can move things around here. And all right, so before let me get back to me for a second here, and then I'll jump back to this. So you might be wondering why I have a blood pressure bulb in my hands. Believe me, you wouldn't want to know what my blood pressure's been lately. Not good. But anyway, I bought this blood pressure bulb and cable for a reason before I got this camera that we're going to talk about. And I got that on Amazon for a whopping like $5.99. So the camera that we're going to talk about here a little bit is the original box from this is a camera. My model is from 1908. We'll get into the details in a second. It's called the folding film daylight loading Primo camera, 3¼ by 4¼ It says Eastman Kodak Company, successor to Rochester Optical Company in Rochester, New York. And because Kodak bought them out in 1903. So we will take the item out of the box, and we will show you, give you the tour around the camera, and then I'll bring up the sheet to. I don't need to put the sheet up to talk about it. I'll just bring it up on my screen. We don't all need to see what I wrote down, but basically, this camera was manufactured by Eastman Kodak from 1906 to 1916. And my model appears to be 1908 because I found one part on the camera that had a patent pending date of 1908, and that's the latest date on the camera. At some point in 1908, they renamed it to the Film Promo #1 camera, but this is probably caught midstream because in 1908, when they came out with the other name, the camera looked a little different. It wasn't the same as the one that you're going to see. So this is, you pull it out of the box, and this is what it looks like. It looks like a box. Okay, so that's the back. Excuse me, that's the back. You saw the front. This is the back. And the material, the leather, I mean, it's in mint condition. It's a museum quality piece, and from 1908. and it's got two. Let's see here. It's got two places for hooking it up on a tripod. But anyway, it's got the infamous hidden button. Okay, that they call the hidden button. It's got a Primo inlay on it, and so I'm going to hit the button.
Wow.
Oops, there's the camera, and we're going to put now. This is a camera that you just pull it out. You have a little lever here in the front that you have to unlock it to be able to pull it out, and you pull it across the rail. And if you look at this, and if you look at the side here, you have a scale. See the scale?
Yeah.
And then you have a little indicator that's made out of chrome. Kind of hard to see with the lighting I have here, but there's a little pointer over here, right here, and you line that up with your distance. Okay, and the distance scale is from 6 feet to 100 feet. So you pull that out and you get it lined up to where you want, and then you take this lever and you slide it the other direction and you lock it. It locks it on the track.
And that's how you focus, correct?
That's how you focus. This can't all the chrome pieces on this camera look like brand new.
Yeah.
Incredible.
There's no pitting. The wood is perfect. The outer covering on this box camera this folding camera is perfect, and your viewfinder is over here. You look down. You lift this up, and you're looking down in this orientation. If you rotate the camera, this flips up.
Wow.
Okay. And this bracket that it's mounted on right here is what had the 1908 patent date on it.
Okay.
Gee.
So that's how I knew it was not in 1908 model. And it was designed to be compact, extremely portable, and it used what they called Primo film packs. Now that's probably the most interesting thing about the camera is the kind of film that it used. It didn't use roll film. It wasn't a plate camera. It used film packs. And I'll tell you,
like little sheets.
Kodak they were friggin' amazing company. The stuff, the creativity of their guys on all the models of cameras, especially in the 1800s through, really through the 60s, I mean, they just had so many cameras out there, they had such a monopoly on the market. And this lens, like you have your lever here to actuate the shutter. Okay.
Yeah.
And you also have pneumatic capability, which is why I have this, because I can hook up the hose to the bottom here, and I can actuate the shutter by squeezing the bulb.
Oh, wow.
And that's what you did if you didn't want to have any camera shake. So instead of putting your finger on it to release the shutter, you would hook up the hose, just to the bottom here, and then you would squeeze the bulb, and that would actuate the shutter.
Wow.
And it does have a glass lens element that you can't see that you would see from the back of the camera when I drop the back of the camera, but it has a metal shutter in front of it. So you only have 3 shutter speeds. You have a time mode. I don't know if I can get it close enough with enough light on it for you to see. Maybe. Yeah. You see how it says T, B, and I.
Okay.
Time, bulb, and instantaneous. And then underneath you have your shutter speed, your f-stops on the bottom here. right along here.
Yeah.
And you just slide the lever, to the number. So the f-stop range was f8 to f128.
Oh, wow.
Now, they had another model that came out in this series that, like I said, this is only time bulb or instantaneous, and they did make another model where they changed the shutter to add, I think it was find my notes, they added 1/25th and 1/100th of a second. Now, I'm going to show you a picture before I go back to showing you the camera body here. I'm going to show you a picture
we need to talk about the film.
Of the film pack.
Yes.
Okay, because that is what's really, really crazy interesting. Let me bring up a little picture from an advertisement. Now, this advertisement is for another Primo camera that was a box camera, not a drop down, bellows type camera like this. But this was the ad, and what you had was basically, think of it as a cardboard container with the edges were metal, like aluminum. So it had some firmness to it. And you would just slide this pack in and close the back. And you had all these pull tabs. So what you would do, it was actually multiple pieces of actual photographic paper, not film, photographic paper.
So when I was reading,
you'd pull up the first sheet and rip it off, and the first sheet of film would be there, and you'd take a picture. And the way they made this, I found a video, not on a Primo film pack, but on another one that they made for a different kind of camera. And each piece of film is glued to the next piece of film with little barrier pieces in between. And so when you take your first picture, you pull up the next tab only so far and you tear it. You take a picture. You pull up the next one, you tear it, and you take the picture. And when you get to the last one and you tear it, it's actually moving the exposed print to the back, I'm assuming. And then what it probably is you got a piece of paper, and then you have glued to it like the protective backing, and that's glued to the next piece of photo paper. So as you pull it, it moves the exposed piece to the back of this package, and you got a fresh piece of film, photo paper to take a shot on.
Wow!
And when you get to the end and you rip off the last piece, it seals the whole thing up, and then you just take that piece out of the back of the camera,
and you send it
with the Kodak, and then they develop the prints.
Wow!
I mean, friggin' ingenious. Yeah. Absolutely ingenious.
Yeah, you need to show that, because when you told me I'm going to be talking about this and I was preparing the slides, I went and looked at the thing and say this comes in a package of 12. Right? So so it's not like it was 3 or 4, it was 12.
No. It blew away, really any other way of doing it.
And apparently it was an economical film, an economical set, camera and film.
Sure. And now when you take drop the back, okay, you can see these little
slot.
You can see where I gotta lift this up on each side, which I'll do here on my lap just to make it easier for me. So I could drop the back of it. So you drop the back of it, and you can see side view. You can see where that box of film, packet of print film would slide in, and you have your glass lens. You're not going to see it. There's not enough light in there, but there's the only glass element is from the back. Oh, you can kind of see through there, the light.
Yes.
Okay. And so you would just drop the back, put it in, close the back. You'd have all those little pull tabs sticking up out of a slot. You'd pull the first sheet out, take your picture, pull up a certain amount, tear the next one off, seals itself right up, take the film out, take the photo paper pack out and ship it out and get it done. And this is just this is a light, tight, no holes in the bellows, perfect condition. This is like brand new condition. It's incredible.
Wow.
And it's not a camera that's worth a lot of money or anything, but to find a camera from 1908 that looks like this is a blessing. It had let's see what else we got here. You could get this in. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, which they considered what they called a quarter plate camera. Then they had a 3 1/4 by 5 1/2 model, which was what they called a postcard size. They used to have cameras that they called postcard cameras, which were 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then you had a 4 by 5 inch size as well. And even on the nameplate here on the front, like it said on the box that I showed you earlier, it says on it, Eastman Kodak Company, successors to Rochester Optical Company. And they manufactured this camera initially, and they were acquired by Kodak in 1903. And they called theirs the Pony Primo one, which was actually probably a little bit higher quality than this. When Kodak bought them, they kind of dumbed the model down a little bit to make it cheaper, which is this one. But they had multiple models of this, and eventually, a different series was back to the higher end of the original one that Rochester Optical made. But this was a very affordable camera and a very affordable way of taking pictures. They called the lens a pantograph meniscus fixed focus lens. Like I said, future models, they added a couple more shutter speeds to it. The shutter on these cameras, any of these cameras, was not synchronized, with any kind of flash at all back in this era of time. But you could use they actually used those plates with flash powder on it as a method of creating light, which wasn't overly safe to do. And I'm never going to try to replicate that. And you would set your camera to the timer, the bulb mode, and then you would set off the flash powder, and then you would let the shutter close. And I talked about how you focus the lens. You basically, just move it forward and backward and line up the indicator with your distance in feet, or it actually has meters as well.
You're probably working with that. You need a tape measure.
Yeah, you didn't have. Unless of course, you did have. You did have an f-stop of f128. Good luck on that. It went. Let's see here. F8, 16, 32, 64, 128.
Yeah. Okay.
And like you already saw, that the finder that you would look through over here can get flipped, so it facilitates looking through it for doing a portrait shot or a landscape shot. And that's about it. It's just a really fine example of a very early model folding camera. Push it in, relock the lever so it doesn't move. Push the side here, lift it up. That's it. Nice and small.
Jeez.
Doesn't weigh anything.
It looks brand new.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean the patent on this piece on the back was 1903, but the patent on that other bracket was 1908.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful, just a piece of history, you know, that's in phenomenal shape. I mean, you find something like this, and the original box and original instruction sheets, which are a little hard to see because they're kind of wrinkled up a bit, but they're legible. They're legible. So you never know what you're going to find, and you get something like that, and it may make you go out and look for part of a blood pressure kit.
Well, congratulations, Jeff, for sure.
Excellent.
But
What you do with the blood pressure thing?
that you can hook up to the pneumatic valve on the front and actually actuate your shutter without touching the lever with your finger. You can actually.
Good, you had me worried.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, but it starts off as a pretty good joke. But I figured my only other option, if I wanted to be able to use a bulb or have something to say this is how they used to do it, would to be like an air blower for cleaning your lenses, and get a piece of Teflon tubing or rubber tubing and hook it up to that, and that would probably do the same thing.
Probably, Jeff, that's the only solution that you have, buying something new, because that rubber would not have lasted more than 100 years.
No, you would never find an original one. You might find an original one with splits and holes in it, but you wouldn't find one that would work.
That's functionable. Yeah.
But so that's just something I wanted to share with you. I mean, I've had it for a little while, and sometimes I'd rather just do a share on this than do a video. Time is valuable, and so I hope you kind of got a kick out of it. But it's the thrill of the chase is part of the fun with camera collecting as well, and seeing what you can find. And like I said, I like having stuff that has some history and has a story, and Kodak definitely has so many variations, especially of folding bellows cameras. You can't keep track of them. All different sizes, all different features. It just goes on and on and on. Nobody cranked out more cameras than them back in the day. I mean, you had finely crafted German cameras, of course, back in that time frame, and you had some pretty good English cameras and stuff like that, but not the quantity and the variety. And of course, Kodak made the film photography what it is, with their standardizing a 35 millimeter cartridge and having the 120 roll film, and they had all the other different film sizes that they made. I mean, it's sad to see where they ended up.
Yeah. And they keep, because their business was film, they keep inventing systems to sell you film, correct? And that lasted all the way up to the 70s, correct?
Yeah.
With all the information.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jeff, let's put the slide here and close the show, because I know we already exceeded our time for today.
Past my bedtime, man, guys. You're past my bedtime.
Exactly. So upcoming. So remember, I offered you to have a remote triggering longer distance presentation, but here's a reminder for everybody that want to make a presentation. Please do contact Jeff and I, and we'll work with you, because participation in this is essential. Correct? You saw today, but when we participate on this works fantastic, and we are unique in that respect. Okay? Jeff already put the reminder about the upcoming event review. I'm not going to talk a little bit more, but here you can read it by yourself later on when you rewatch this. Please do send us some images. We want to get between 60 and 80 images to have a proper review. We always get inspired by what you do on your photography. And in when we have our next general meeting, I will make a presentation about the Hawaii Big Island nature photography, and we're going to try to include some videos as well. So all that is what we have for today. So thank you very much. And Jeff, we can go back to the panel here, and thank you here to the member of the panel. Roy, thank you for your presentation. It was wonderful. We want to see more. Randall, keep doing videos. I saw your car wash video today.
Yeah.
He's like Kodak. We always see one new thing from Randall. And Jeff, thank you very much. I love that camera. Congratulations.
How much did that?
Yeah, I mean, what's that?
How much did it cost?
You really want me to tell you? You're sitting
Yeah.
down, right? You're sitting
Yeah.
down. Less than $100.
Did you get it from Japan?
Nope.
It was
You,
so.
you gotta realize you're looking at the king of camera searchers.
Okay.
6,000 cameras at a clip I look at.
Yeah. And if you want to, if you don't,
and then the final tally at the end of 6,000, 0.1% of that 6,000 I think about, and I may only buy one or two out of 6,000 cameras I look at, because of what I look at. Like when I did that long, so you want to get a camera collection.
Yeah.
It's painful. And if you're not anal like I am, and I have been burned. Now, Gustavo, you talked about, we're going to keep the show going for 2 more minutes.
All right, there we go.
okay.
I love it. It kind of reminds me of the night with Chuck. You know, he just kept going and going.
Yeah.
It was 10.5 hours.
You want to buy cameras like Jeff? He put a 2-hour video on how to.
Yeah. I would watch it
because you mentioned this early in the show, Gustavo. So I'm blaming you. Sorry.
That's right.
Let me make me big here for a minute. You mentioned something. And gee, I'm guessing
you're going to have the same problem that Mr. Wu.
I'm guessing.
Oh my!
I remember that camera.
Yes.
Okay.
Spy camera.
Spy camera. Now, this was one of my I got burned moments.
Okay.
The camera is beautiful cosmetically.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Jeez.
And I got it with two flash units in their own little container. The first little flash unit here's the flash connector here on the end. Here's the receiver. Here's the other end of this flash unit. And you slide it on. And your flash, this particular flash. Okay, here's the end, was for a flash cube.
Okay, got it.
On the end of it. Then I got it with the
And what's wrong with the camera?
It doesn't work. I mean, I got a battery for it. You can find film for it.
Okay.
It just doesn't work. And and here's where I don't want to get my blood pressure up, but I have bought cameras in the past where people say as is.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And you take a risk. This was the other flash unit, plugs in the same way and has the
okay. Yeah. I like that.
Has the fan set up.
Oh my God.
A little hard to get it hooked up here. which we're talking stuff that's really, really old.
Aren't we all?
But yeah, I'm just bending it out of shape. But you get the idea. I mean, it closes like this. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. So you pop a bulb in it. You got a reflector.
Beautiful.
So it comes with, I got 2 flash units, and the thing is cosmetically mint. And these spy cameras actually had a filter that you could slide over the lens with this little slider here on the top, which would put a filter on the front of it.
Wow.
And but it doesn't functionally work. Oh, here you can see it. See the
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get the light to hit it right. Not enough light here. You can this slides over this hole here, but yeah. So it's unfortunate. It's a mint cosmetic condition, non-functional display item only, and I got pretty upset about it because. Yeah, you could sell it as is, and you can say, "Well, you were warned," and yeah, but normally when you have something that doesn't work, you advertise it and you say it's a display item only,
Or for parts.
You say for parts, display item, non-functional. You have something that you're showing it, and the thing looks like brand new. Most people have a reasonable expectation that it's going to work. And so it's a fine cosmetic, a collector. I have one. Here's what it looked like. Here's the stuff that you could get for it, but I didn't pay a lot for it. So I got in a little bit of a back and forth with the person, and I finally just said, you know what, my life is not worth arguing over what I paid for it. You need the money more than I do. It's your money.
You can find another one in the future.
But well, to be honest with you, like I said, I have spent so much time in the last year and a half or 2 years trying to get what I wanted in a collection. Various pieces, various decades of gear. Not all one brand, obviously. And I think I'm really, to be honest with you, I've looked over the last month or so, and I really have lost interest in really getting much more. I mean, my cabinet is pretty much full.
Yeah.
I got the stuff I really wanted to get, and if I do get something, it would be
special.
It would have to be something that really grabs me, and I would have to be damn sure it was in usable, functional, excellent, and I've got a good track record. I mean, 95% of everything I own works fine. Every function works fine. So I started kind of like trying to buy a couple extra lenses for some of the older cameras. I'm still waiting for that one camera to get repaired. I mean, the guy has a long list of customers, and I was hoping to get it back by now, but it's a major service that's being done. I have to have part of the shutter has to be replaced.
Wow.
And that, by the time I'm done with what it's going to cost me to fix that camera, it'll be worth probably worth what I put into it and no more. Not something that I would make money on selling it, but it'll end up being a camera of a unique camera, German camera, and I'll do a thing on that when I get it. It'll be a very unique camera that when I do get it back will be in mint working condition, fully reconditioned mechanically and cosmetically. It looked brand new. So I look forward to getting it back at some point and then sharing it with everybody.
What
But
was this the one where the guy was retired and he wasn't going to work on cameras anymore?
well, he was slowing down and doing vacations and
okay.
stuff, getting a little older. And actually, we talked back and forth, and he says, "I've seen a big spike in customers. Is that your fault?" And I says, "Maybe." because he does a good job, and
Yeah.
I've given him free plugs here and there, and I'll throw it out again. Vermont Camera Works, okay, so check him out. Guy does great work at very fair prices, and so I never have a problem calling out somebody that does a good job. And like I said, when it comes to getting camera repairs done, and that's a big consideration when getting into collections, is you really have to decide, as I in my video I said, there's so many different types of collectors, right? A collector could just be somebody buying the cameras at tag sales or yard sales for $10 a piece, and they don't care whether they work or not. They go, yeah, look at this vintage this vintage that. They don't care if it works. It's a display item. You seeing it, having never seen it before, you go, oh, that's cool, but it doesn't necessarily have to work. Other people, they want it near mint. They want it working. But the problem is this stuff is old, and certain brands. I know I have my Connie Omega medium format camera. I wanted to get another back for it. Those backs are very hard to find. They do break. They're very complicated because you got that quick advance mechanism on them that I showed you way back when. And unfortunately, the only guy in the United States that knew these things like the back of his hand and worked on Konica cameras is now, unfortunately much older and medical problems and unable to service anything anymore. So there's no one to go to get it fixed. Nobody else does it. And that's the problem you run into. It's not only like, oh, it's cool, it's old, it's special, it's unique, I like it. Well, if it doesn't work perfect, you better darn well be sure that there's somebody out there that can, if you want it to be a working camera, you got to make sure that there's someone out there that can work on it. That's a big part of the game too.
So Jeff, Rakesh is asking whether would you say Vermont camera repair or
Vermont Camera Works.
okay? Rakesh is asking if if it works on Mamillas.
I don't know for sure, but he works on Leicas and he works on Nikons and he works on German cameras, and you can always, he's got a website, you can look him up and contact him and see and ask him. But I mean, that's what I found him the work on more brands of cameras than most, because I had another guy that I've used for Minolta cameras, and he might only do Minolta cameras and maybe one other brand, because when I've called about other models, he goes, I don't work on that one, I don't work on that one, I don't work on that one. So it's and there are like two for Leica. Well, there were, I guess, three Leica, not going directly to Leica, but people that were either certified or Leica trained factory technicians that retired and then started a side business doing CLAs on Leica cameras and Leica lenses and stuff like that. And of the three that I had heard about in different rangefinder forum groups and stuff like that, I contacted one, and she says, I don't do it anymore, and referred me to somebody else. And then I found somebody else in Massachusetts. So I only know of two people in the States that are highly recommended to work on Leica gear and do CLAs on Leica stuff. And just for general information, like one guy didn't give me prices, but the guy in Massachusetts, like I think a CLA on an M3, an old M3 camera, was somewhere around $250, and CLAs on lenses. I don't know if I have it in front of me here. CLAs on lenses vary depending on the focal length, but I would say the CLAs on the lenses could vary anywhere from $125 to $175 or something a lens, but and that's the thing too, is even if you get a Leica and you get lenses with it like I did, and so far the shots I've taken with it with the lenses, which have not if they had even a slightest amount of cloudiness to them or whatever, has not affected the image quality, and any dust spots do not show up in affecting the image quality. And it's amazing really how dusty a lens can be and still give you a good result, because you gotta figure too, the lens that has the dust is in it is not where your focus point is.
Exactly.
So you may see it, but it isn't going to show up. Typically going to show up on your negative. But I mean, there are limits to that, of course. But
fungus is a more troublesome than a grain of sand in the lens.
Yeah, the fungus is the killer. Fungus is the killer, and because even if you can remove it, I've removed it from some old cameras, but you don't know when it started. You don't know how many years it's been on there, and it can etch into the glass itself. And if it etches into the glass, you don't know what you're going to get for a result until you actually put film in it and you take a picture and you see, what is the light going through it or whatever, if it's going to be a problem or not. But it's a pain in the neck to clean, and you have to have the right tools and the patience and know how to take a lens apart and put it back together. Exactly. And I can do that on some lenses to a moderate level of disassembly. I don't have a problem cleaning front lens elements or rear lens elements. It's the ones in the middle that I don't necessarily have the tools to break it apart to that level. Exactly. It's camera collecting is tough, and I'll tell you, the only ones that don't have a problem as camera collectors are people that have. Just basically, I'm not lying, just people that have the money. Because if you have the money, you're not buying cameras and doing what I'm doing and spending the thousands of hours that I spend doing it. You're buying you want a camera in your collection, you're buying it from another camera collector.
Exactly.
You're buying it knowing that it's
or from intermediaries like Gray or Westminster, correct? That will know all the camera collections and will facilitate exchanges between the big players. So Jeff, one request here, and we close the show. So you need to choose in a future general meeting or is some of the photos that you have taken with the cameras. And I still want to see that projector working.
Yeah, I gotta buy a roll of I gotta buy a roll of slide film is what I gotta do.
Exactly. So anyway, let's
it's on my hit list. I got a roll that I took with my Nikon SP. I got a roll in the M3 that I gotta finish up, and then I gotta do at least one more roll because I send them out when I have 3 rolls. So when I get those back, I'll share the images. But it's it's interesting. It's frustrating. I don't know if I want to say I recommend it for people to start doing it, but I'm somewhat of I'm a camera lover. I'm a photography lover and I'll love the camera, whether it was built in 1880 or built in 2080, if I'm still alive then, but it's just a love of the process. It's a love of the engineering and the hard work that people put in and did stuff 100 years ago that even today, it still blows you away that they were able to do it, so. But anyway, we're going to end the show. We got the photo review on May 3rd. We'll try to send a reminder out on that. And Gustavo and I will get together to try to figure out why Restream it keeps doing stuff to make our life more difficult.
Exactly.
And thank you, Roy, for talking about the lens. And when you get a little more, as they say, stick time with it or whatever, we'll revisit it and let you talk about it some more when you feel you're ready to.
I think my opinion's pretty straight on it so far.
Yeah,
it's an interesting lens, but it's not going to be one I'll be using a lot. I'll still be going back to the 24 to 120.
Yeah, I mean, even with how they presented it, I looked at it as
that's what I expected.
If I really wanted to get deeper into video, I mean, serious video, but when am I serious about anything, right?
I'm burning.
I only go because it's an interesting lens.
Let's see. I got my see.
Yeah.
I still remember those commercials only from the mind of Minolta. Remember that. They were great. They were great.
I got a Minolta MND 50 right here in my hand, and I'm trying it out. I got it for $108.
Yeah, I gave my friend Bob. I had a duplicate Petri camera, and I gave it to him, and he's been shooting with it and enjoying it, and awaiting to send his first roll out, from that. So hopefully I can get him to share the images from that when he gets them back, because I got the same camera. I gave him a duplicate one because I didn't need two of them, and he's big into collectible movie cameras, and I'm more into cameras. So
maybe we can convince Bob to show us some of his collections.
Yeah, next time I'll see him on Monday. So I'll bug him. I'll say, why don't you come on the show and share some of your vintage
movie
Super 8 or 8mm movie cameras.
Exactly. Beautiful.
But anyway, thanks everybody for hanging in with us. We'll see you on the 3rd. And thank you for you guys on the panel. Thank you to John and Diana for adding a lot of good information and sample images, real-time images from the new Fuji GFX 100 RF medium format camera, rangefinder style, and for Roy sharing the information on the new Power Zoom Cinema lens, 28 to 135, if I'm correct.
That's right.
And we appreciate that. And obviously, Luis, taking pictures that I'll never get to see those critters in real life, but I live vicariously through everyone else. So that's the great part of this. So happy Easter to those of you that celebrate it. And for those of you that don't, just have a great Sunday, and take care, enjoy life, capture some of it, as we say, and get out there and shoot and get those images to me for the photo review.
See you in 2 weeks.
Good night, everybody.